you and pawning and fawning, just like you dream about, then all you have to do is softly now type into your computers www. And I love saying this, BobbyTheBrain.com. You can find all kinds of merchandise, for instance, Bobby signed T-shirts and the infamous brain cap. For more fun, there is an archive of pictures. And later you'll be able to venture into new products. I said new, not nude. New products will include some of Bobby's own personal collection of gear that he's used over the years. So don't be left out.
Okay, BobbyTheBrain.com.
That's correct.
All right, well, Betty, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
And actually, we've been to the site. It's a great-looking site. I invite everyone to actually go out and check out BobbyTheBrain.com.
Well, I think I'm going to wear my red sequin jacket I haven't worn for about 10 years.
That you know what? That is worth the price of the pay-per-view alone right there.
Well, then I'm going to wear it.
All right. Again, this Sunday, 8 o'clock, the Women of Wrestling WOW present Women of Wrestling Unleashed, their first pay-per-view, and Bobby the Brain Heenan makes his return to wrestling this Sunday. Bobby, we're all excited about it. Thank you very much for joining us. Real quick, Les Thatcher told me to tell you hi.
Les Thatcher, obviously somebody's made bail. Les is a good man.
I'll tell him you said that.
And he was a good wrestler.
You know what? He tells me that every day.
The only thing, be careful with him. If you're outdoors with him and he takes his glasses off, he can start a fire.
Bobby, thank you very much.
Les was also a lookout at Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. Getting that close to him, yeah. I think actually, you can get your deposit back on those glasses too, like
2 cents a lens.
Yeah, right, exactly.
One says diet, one says regular.
Exactly.
Well, Bobby, again, thank you very much. When the book comes out, please join us again.
Sure, anytime, guys.
All right, thank you very much. Bobby the Brain Heenan, an absolute throw on a Willie with yourself being a manager.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know we've talked before, absolute inspiration.
Absolutely. This guy, and in fact, I didn't talk about it because I know we're talking about the pay-per-view, but if anyone has DirecTV right now, they're showing a lot of the old AWA footage, and Bobby Heenan had that. He was like the first one of the real tough guy, heel managers, bad guy managers. Unless you confronted him, and then he got real scared.
Right.
And, that is absolutely a marvel to watch. And plus, the man, has a true wit, something that you don't really get, in this business really anymore. I mean, everything's scripted in the back. You can tell that the guy came up with it all of himself. And that's what made it more truthful, too. And, I can't wait to watch the I wasn't really going to watch the pay-per-view, but since Bobby the Brain Heenan is on it, that's absolutely more incentive for me to watch it.
I think a lot of people felt that way. And when we come back on the Celebrity Hotline, David McClane, the owner and founder of WOW, he's going to join us. We're going to talk more about the pay-per-view. And WOW has a very big cult following, especially here in this area.
Absolutely.
It's growing by leaps and bounds. We're going to talk to David when we come back. We are the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5. Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5. Shawn Stidham, Willie F., Julie across the glass on the other side of the board. In case you're just joining us, you just missed one of the best interviews we've had on this show.
I would say so, yeah, definitely. Bobby the Brain Heenan, talk about a guy that, I would definitely mark out for, and that's definitely him. Very generous guy, and great that he joined us tonight.
Absolutely, and the reason again that Bobby's in the news, Bobby the Brain Heenan is coming back to wrestling this Sunday as a part of the Women of Wrestling Unleashed pay-per-view. It's the company's first pay-per-view ever, and joining us on the Celebrity Hotline right now, the man that started this all, David McClane. David, how are you?
Fabulous. Welcome, and I'm happy to be on the radio with you at the Wrestling Guys radio show.
Well, thank you. We need to put that on a cart right now and go ahead and keep bumping that up.
David, you joined us on the show when the announcement first came about WOW, I guess a year or so ago. Has it lived up to your expectations so far?
Well, more so. I didn't anticipate initially that I'd find such athletic women this time around that I've received, but if you look at some of the athleticism of Becky the Farmer's Daughter and and even Jungle Girl, who are in the big splash match this coming Sunday on WOW Unleashed. It's just amazing to see the athleticism of some of the talent.
Now, explain a splash match for those that aren't really familiar with it.
Well, it came to be based on both of them finish off their opponents by launching themselves from the third rope and subsequently pinning their opponents. So, one day when we were in the parking lot, Jungle Girl said, I've got the best splash in WOW. I said, oh, really? Well, I wonder what Becky the Farmer's Daughter thinks. So I mentioned it to her the next day while we were doing a photo shoot, and she laughed and said, I don't think so. I think my splash is better than Jungle Girl's. So subsequently, that's how the match came to be, and the opponent, to be the victor, must pin their opponent by utilizing the splash pin.
Gotcha.
So we'll see that in Sunday's pay-per-view event on WOW Unleashed, as well as that big steel cage match with Selena Majors and Thug in there in the steel cage match, and Danger, the world champion, against Terry Gold, the former champ, and we'll see who's going to come out of that with the belt, if you will. Danger won it, as many of you know that have watched the program, by interrupting the match Terry Gold had scheduled with Riot, who at the time was the #1 contender. And Terry Gold, against my wishes, took on Danger. She wasn't properly prepared for the match. Danger plowed her through a table, tossed her into the ring, and got the 3 count and became the new WOW champion. So we're going to have a rematch on that match. And then the one everyone's talking about, and I don't know if Bobby the Brain Heenan, who's our guest announcer, and I know you had him on earlier, mentioned it, but the big one is the hair shaving match. Ice Cold and Poison in there against Lana Starr and Patty Pizzazz, and the one that gets pinned will have their heads completely shaved bald.
That's absolutely amazing. Actually, Bobby did mention it. He made sure that, he wanted to say that there was a chair in the ring so that they would shave the right end.
How were you able to get Bobby the Brain Heenan to come in and do this pay-per-view with you this Sunday?
I've known Bobby the Brain Heenan since I was a teenager when he was in Indianapolis and the AWA, and before he went to the WWF and then subsequently to WCW. And I called Bobby Heenan up, and he had viewed the WOW action on television and said, hey, I'd love to be a part of the action. I think you've got something here. And I said, well, I'd love you to take my place at ringside as the host of the program. So Bobby the Brain Heenan will be the host along with Lee Marshall this Sunday. So I think it's spectacular that we've got someone with his credibility and his knowledge of the wrestling industry commentating on the action that everyone will see.
And go ahead, Willie.
I was going to say, most definitely. I mean, the man is the best color commentator that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Our producer, Julia, who has the nickname the 69th Wonder of the World, she is a big fan of WOW, but she has some problems with Lana Starr. And we're wondering, is there any way we can maybe get these two, hooked up and maybe they could, settle their differences one-on-one?
Well, she'll have to voice those differences with Lana Starr, and Lana, being the executive producer of WOW, Women of Wrestling, would have to potentially make the match on her own. So that's how the 69th Wonder of the World would have to get involved.
Julia, is that okay with you?
Okay, sure.
Okay, yeah, I thought you would like that. Yeah.
She didn't sound too convincing.
That's right, yeah. See, she's all talk until
I could do it. I'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to receive the Lana Starr facelift, I don't think.
Okay, that's true. I probably wouldn't want to receive that. That's true.
David, most of us know that you were the founding father, if you will, behind Glow, and now with WOW, is there any comparisons you can make between WOW and Glow as far as the quality of the athletes, or how it's similar or how it's different?
It's a whole new age. When I started, Glow in the 80s, if I brought it up, it was, are they going to have oil on or be in mud? And anyone I spoke to with regards to their participation in the 80s of being in that, the furthest extent of their athleticism was they had maybe had gymnastics once or twice or played touch football. And that was really it. And today you see, I mean, the average age of the WOW performer is probably approximately 24. And what you see today are talented female performers that come from a background of doing everything from rock climbing to skydiving to modern jazz to hip-hop, dance to gymnastics to kickboxing to taekwondo to karate. And it's just a totally new era. I saw it the first week I launched WOW, and it was the first thing I recognized. I said, holy smokes, females today are completely in tone with their bodies. They're athletic, and that wasn't the case in the 80s. So I don't know if that's from having females, in school, if you will, participating in sports, playing them from grade school to high school, and accelerating in college, which wasn't that available in the 70s and then 80s. But that's the biggest athletic difference. The economic difference, obviously, is in the 80s, we only had television as a means to exploiting the property. And it was difficult at the time to attempt to launch, a pay-per-view, to launch a proper marketing campaign. And in fact, we're definitely still have a lot of potential to expose in those areas. But the fact that we have yourselves on the radio, that wasn't there 10 years ago. The fact that WOW has its own website, WOWE.com, and it's getting about 1 million hits a day now that everyone's voting on the swimsuit contest that's going to be at Sunday's pay-per-view event, that wasn't available, in the 80s. So from an economic perspective, there's just a lot more avenues to promote, market, and assist the viability of your company that weren't there in the 80s. So athletically and marketing-wise, it's just a new era.
I don't care what you say. Hollywood always had great tone. Hollywood was great. I don't care what you say. But any of the girls
He's a big Hollywood and Vine mark.
Hollywood, I marked out for Hollywood big time, absolutely.
But I would agree with you. I mean, I think, when Glow first came around, I mean, Bobby talked about this a little bit, too, about, how it was, hey, it's, just women ripping off the guys. And I think now, with WOW, I mean, it's more, the girls, the girls can work. Too. I mean, and actually, you're going to see some, I would say some tremendous matches on this coming pay-per-view.
You wouldn't have someone of Bobby the Brain Heenan's stature involved when it was Glow.
Right.
Good point. Good point.
He's involved in WOW because he's seen their wrestling ability.
Absolutely.
You can see David McClane, Lee Marshall, and the ladies of WOW every Thursday night, 7 o'clock, locally on the Miami Valley channel. Again, their website, WOWE.com. And this Sunday, again, the Women of Wrestling Unleashed pay-per-view, 8 o'clock. A great price, $19.95. I mean,
that's the cheapest pay-per-view going right now.
Before you guys go, who are you going to take in the title match? You think Terry Gold will take it or Danger?
Well, Terry Gold is the former champion, correct?
Yes.
You see, I would go with the former champion based on, she wants to get the title back, but Bobby really likes Jungle Girl. He mentioned that during the interview. So if Bobby the Brain Heenan likes Jungle Girl, I think I would put my money on Jungle Girl.
Now, really? Jungle Girl's in the splash match, though.
Yeah, she's in a splash match.
I thought Jungle Girl was in a title match.
You know what? You need to really listen, Shawn. It's
Terry Gold and Danger Girl,
right?
Danger Girl. I'm sorry.
So are you going for Terry?
No, I'm going Danger Girl.
All right,
You're going with Danger.
Champion will keep it.
All right, well, I'm going to go with Terry Gold then.
You're going Terry Gold, Julia?
Yes.
How about the tag team match? Caged Heat or Harley's Angels?
Harley's Angels.
Harley's Angels.
Well,
Definitely.
Thug will definitely be at ringside, so something will have to be done to contain Thug.
See, that's why.
That's why they're going to win.
And see, I'm going to go that I think that Lana Starr is going to lose her hair this Sunday.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
What do the listeners think? Have they called in? Have you had any feedback?
Well, when we came on, we had Bobby on, so we really haven't taken any calls yet tonight, but we're going to do that when we wrap up here.
Yeah, we'll take a poll. We'll take a poll the rest of the night.
It's Lana Starr,
Patty Pizzazz, Ice Cold, and Poison.
Right.
Now, what's interesting is you all know Poison was Lana Starr's personal assistant originally, and Lana told her she has a non-speaking role. She put her into the background. Other than riding around in her limos and drinking a little champagne, Poison was put in the background. When Ice Cold needed a partner, she reached out to Poison. Poison also was the one that dyed Lana Starr's hair green. Now, the funny thing is, it's the wrestler that's pinned loses their hair. Patty Pizzazz better watch out, because I think Lana may have her in that ring wrestling quite a bit, rather than getting in to potentially have her hair removed.
So strategy.
But Ice Cold wants Lana's hair.
Gotcha.
Because Lana did manage to chop some of Ice Cold's hair completely off her right side just a few weeks ago. So it's very interesting who your viewers think will lose their hair completely on Sunday.
And again, that's going to be this Sunday, 8 o'clock. Real quick, I know that Entertainment Tonight and some other national media outlets have been covering you guys a little bit. Has that feature been on that show yet, or?
Yes, they just had it on. In fact, of all the things they shot, the one thing they featured was the hair shaving match. So it's got everyone buzzing.
Of course.
No pun intended.
David McClane, wonderful to talk to you again. Good luck with the pay-per-view this Sunday, and please join us again sometime.
Thank you, guys, and we're lucky to have you, because with your assistance, wrestling is thriving. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate that, David.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate that, and good luck to you this Sunday.
We'll see you on pay-per-view Sunday.
Absolutely. David McClane from WOW. When, again, the pay-per-view Women of Wrestling Unleashed this Sunday, 8 o'clock. And it's going to be, not only do you have the hair versus hair match, but, again, the return of Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Absolutely.
How many times did you watch Nitro only for Bobby the Brain Heenan?
How many times was it on?
Bobby the Brain Heenan is worth $19.95 alone.
I would say so, particularly if it's going to be like you said. I mean, he was held back with WCW. Now he's going to be able to say whatever he wants to say. So
absolutely. We're going to go ahead and take a break. A little bit later on the program, the Sandman is going to join us. We'll talk about his future and what's happening with him. You're listening to The Wrestling Guys
on Buckeye Country 106.5. Welcome back to The Wrestling Guys radio show. I am Willie F. Shawn Stidham here.
Excuse me.
You all right?
I think I'm okay, yeah. There's a little frog in the throat.
You're doing the throwing voice cough today.
You like that?
Yeah, I think that's
Bouncing
great.
off the walls over
of course, we are sponsored by Darren Drozdov, Mann, and Schultz. Maybe put a tiger on your team.
Call 1-800-MAYBE.
Maybe.
Call 1-800-INJURED. And you have to say that. Even if we weren't sponsored, I think when we...
I have to say
the line.
Well, yeah, because, put a tiger on your team. Offices all around the Miami Valley? You already said that, though.
Absolutely.
Why am I even here?
You're because you matter, Willie F.
Okay.
Don't forget 457-1065, the number if you want to call in tonight with a comment, question, anything you've got. And again, about 20 minutes or so, we're going to hook up with Sandman, find out what's going on with him.
Plus, we have the big poll now.
The poll, which of the ladies this Sunday at the WOW pay-per-view do you think is going to lose her hair on top of her head? Patty Pizzazz, Ice Cold Poison, or Lana Starr? So if you want to call in with your take on that, too, you're more than welcome.
Can I give a prediction, though?
Sure.
I think I have a prediction.
What's that?
I think one of them's going to be wearing a wig.
You think so? I don't think so. You
don't think so?
As much hype as this is getting with Entertainment Tonight.
No, but what I'm saying is that one of them will have a wig on.
Oh.
They'll have their hair underneath, and then they will shave the wig, and then they'll figure out, hey, wait a minute, this isn't this girl's hair.
And then they'll go back and really shave it. I see. Okay.
Well, that's what I would do, but, we're not a booker.
This past Sunday, according to Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer, Hulk Hogan was not allowed into the VIP parking lot at the Super Bowl because he did not have the proper credentials. He said the old...
How can you not know who that
I'm
is?
Hulk Hogan. Don't you know who I am? And they said, yeah. That's why we're not letting you in.
Sure.
So,
yeah, we saw Mr. Nanny. We know who you are, pal. That's why you're not getting in.
Absolutely. This Saturday, OCW Outlaw Championship Wrestling. That's how Dave Diamond does it, isn't it?
Actually, I think you did it a lot better than what he would do.
OCW Outlaw Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
They've got a show coming back to the John Bryan Community Center. On that show includes Big Jim Hutchinson, the OCW champion, against Headache Jake Maxwell. I've never heard the name Headache used as far as a nickname goes.
No, but yeah, because I mean, he gives headaches to everybody.
That's a great.
It's not like that he actually has a headache himself and he's walking around the ring with his hands on his head.
Well, you know what? I think maybe it should be that way, because when my wife gets a migraine,
right,
you don't want to be around it. Just like forget it.
Well, yeah, that's all right. That's true. Maybe it is.
So maybe he's tortured by the pain of this migraine, and that's why he lashes out.
And every once in a while, he just goes nuts.
Yeah, and that's why
it has to get the finishing mover of the Advil launch or something.
The Tylenol. Yeah, okay. This is why we're not bookers. And
That's
then
right.
A three-way tag team match with the OCW Tag Team Champions Waikiki Kid and the Giggler taking on the Star Powers, and also the CIA. It's a Texas Tornado Lumberjack three-way tag team title match.
I like the CIA in this one.
You like the CIA?
Just because I want to shut the Giggler up. With that laughing all the time. Just please, CIA, listen, if you're listening out there, just hit the Giggler once for me, please.
And also, Big Daddy Raj Cox, some UCW wrestlers, also expected to be on the show as well.
They caused havoc last time they were there.
They did. Big Daddy Raj Cox and Bobo and the Wrecker, police got involved.
The police did get involved. It's great.
229-8189, the phone number. A little bit later, we're going to give out some tickets for that show. This past weekend, a couple great shows. Number one, up in Piqua at the National Guard Armory. Violent Championship Wrestling returned to town. 300, 400 people, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And you got involved.
I don't want to talk about it, man.
Why?
Because
you got stunned by a ref.
See, I knew you were going to bring that up. It's not even cool to talk about, man. Look, I wasn't feeling very well that night, first of all. I was out there, to help, my guys, Logan Kane, Trevor Lowe. Mm-hmm. And, it was a little, he got off a cheap shot.
The ref did.
I could say. He did.
Why did the ref stun you? Because
I kind of hit Chris Hero with a chair.
Just kind of.
A
little bit.
It was like, I just wanted to get his attention.
And a big time this past Friday at the Grand Victoria Casino with the HWA and OVW teaming up, and they had a huge show, big show. Mark Henry, Jim Cornette. Big time was had by all.
I was there. I saw it.
Really?
I was there.
Really? How was Brock Guffman?
He's pretty good.
Is he?
He's pretty good.
Did you introduce yourself? Or
no, I didn't. They would not let me get him that
nervous?
Close to him. Actually, but it was weird because a couple people were coming up to me and spitting on me, like afterwards, like at the casino, and I was like, I'm not that guy.
And Big Show did very well in the casino. Picked up like $5,000.
He did.
Yeah.
He actually came in the night before. We're on 3,000. And then won 2,000 then the next night.
I think I heard him say, like, you can book me anytime for either place.
Yeah, exactly. He was like,
absolutely.
The rich get richer.
New HWA champion, Chad Collier.
Chad Collier, right. New tag team champions. You have taxi driver McMurphy and Cody Hawk. And also, you want to talk about, we talked, Shark Boy versus Rory Fox. Loser leave town. Rory Fox, MTV superstar, the guy that you saw on So You Want to Be a Pro Wrestler.
Yeah.
Gone.
Done.
From HWA.
Done with
He's
the HWA.
done.
I actually talked with him today. He was at the HWA headquarters. And
he's got to sign some stuff, like, he's got to get, like, the last couple checks.
He's picking up some stuff out of his locker. And he's
done. He tried to come on.
We're not kidding here. He's gone.
He's gone. He's done.
He's
done. It is done.
So best of luck to him, and so
absolutely
wish him well. One other guy we want to give props to is, again, we just mentioned new HWA champion Chad Collier.
Yeah.
He and BJ Payne worked last night in Columbus at the SmackDown tapings, and Chad has worked a number of matches lately trying out for the WWF. I hope this turns out to be something good for him.
Yeah, the thing, Chad is probably one, if you've never seen Chad Collier work, Chad is one of the most consummate athletes that are out there right now. The man is just incredibly gifted in the ring. The only thing, that he's lacking is probably like his size. I mean, as far as, his height. But thank God that the WWF is looking at him and looking at him on a consistent basis. This guy has been over at Michinoku Pro in Japan. This guy has traveled the world already. And him and Ray Steele, I mean, if you were down at the casino, had, I would say, the match of the night, a classic match, a match that I would put right up there with, in my probably top 10 matches. It was absolutely a flawless match. I mean, when you have like guys from OVW, like Nick Dinsmore and stuff backstage, and they were talking about how that was a match, right there. Mm-hmm. That match was absolutely phenomenal. I hope everyone got a chance to see it.
I talked with Les Thatcher about that, that match, and I said, I heard, Race and Chad did a good job, and he goes, yeah, it wasn't bad. And if it wasn't bad from Les Thatcher,
that means it's good.
That's like a 5-star match.
Yeah, that's a 5-star match. Speaking of the 5-star matches, I don't know. Did you ever talk about this, by the way? About the Pillman tapes? A lot of people asked about them.
Go ahead.
Do you know about this?
Yes.
Okay. You can actually get the Pillman tapes from this past year, which features the wrestling guys match of the year, the Chris Benoit versus Steven Regal at the time, and rfvideo.com. That's an R and an F and video.com. I don't have their phone number, but you can buy the tapes there from that and also from the 1998 show. $20.
Absolutely.
$20 gets you the entire card, and when I saw this, I mean, I was on the phone with Les going, do you know that this is going on? He goes, yeah, I know.
Well, they're giving proceeds to Melanie Pillman
yes, they
and the
are.
Pillman Foundation.
So, yeah, the proceeds still go to help a good cause, but a lot of people have always asked, hey, where can I get a copy of this tape? Now you can get it, rfvideo.com.
Especially with the Benoit-Regal match because, again, maybe 3,000 people saw that match, but the groundswell it had as far as word of mouth, it's too bad this tape wasn't available 6 months ago when some of the national match of the year contests were being held, because I think it would have done much better. But
I agree.
Absolutely. rfvideo.com is for a good cause, so check that out. And again, Tuesday nights, HWA Showcase down in Cincinnati at the Les Thatcher Main Event Pro Wrestling Camp. Go down there. It's a free show on Tuesday night.
It is an absolutely free show. It starts at 7 o'clock. You'll be out by 9. Never runs longer than 9 o'clock. In fact, generally they're pretty good about, right at 9 o'clock. It's like a 2-hour show. Bam, bam. I don't know how they do that, but it's like bam, bam, and they're done, 9 o'clock. Now, the big thing now here that, this Brock Guffman guy, he has a major announcement on Tuesday. I don't know what it is, but, supposedly it's, I don't know. I know that, he's a little upset.
If you knew, you would tell us, right?
If I knew what it was, but okay. I don't know.
I know. Again, if you want to check out these federations, OCW, go to OutlawChampionshipWrestling.com. VCW, ViolentChampionshipWrestling.com, and of course the HWA is HWAOnline.com. You get pictures, wrestler bios, and so much more.
And you even have a message board.
Yep.
On a couple of those. HWA doesn't have one, though.
VCW has one.
VCW has one, and I think Outlaw Championship has one, too.
I can't remember if they have one or not. I know VCW does.
Yeah, I think they do. And, you can talk about, wrestling, what you like, didn't like it. They get instant feedback. Right from the message board. You might actually have, Stevie Hayes, read what you wrote and call you an idiot and then, write something back.
Julia, are you doing okay over there tonight? Julia, you can turn on your mic. It's okay. We grounded Julia earlier because she no-showed the ladies' training camp this past Saturday. But she's been a little upset. We let her talk to Dave McClane because she's a big WoW fan.
She is a big WoW fan.
She wanted to get involved in that. But, Julia, you doing okay? Now she's pouting. Julia's pouting. Let's go ahead and take a quick phone call. It's the Undertaker Guy. Undertaker Guy, how are you?
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah, my question is, what do you think about WCW lately? I don't think it's been that bad with Ric Flair in his character.
The one thing about Ric Flair, in my opinion, I don't think at this stage in his life and his career, it's possible for him to be a heel.
Really?
I really don't think that he can be an effective heel right now.
Oh, I disagree.
I don't think he has the skills to be a heel manager. I just don't see that in Ric Flair. I never have. I don't think Ric Flair was a good commentator. Because when he retired, the first time, 5-6 years ago, they tried him out as a commentator. They gave him his interview segment. I don't think he did a good job at that time. Now, maybe, he's improved those skills, but I haven't seen that from him yet. And so, and being a Ric Flair mark all my life, I would love to say otherwise because I'm a big fan of his. But
so you liked Ric Flair as a face more than you liked Ric Flair as a heel? Is that what you're saying?
As far as outside of wrestling, as far as him not being a wrestler.
Oh, okay.
No, Ric Flair is a heel wrestler.
Okay.
Tremendous. I love him much better as a heel.
All right.
But I'm saying as a heel commissioner or a heel manager,
right.
I just don't think he's that good.
Okay, and when is Kurt going to lose the belt? Because I know it's any time now.
I would say no way out. That's what I'm. No way out.
Because it wouldn't surprise me if he lost it on Thursday. I'll be honest with you.
We can't say anything.
I can't say anything, but it would surprise me if he did.
Yes.
It
would surprise us.
And no quick question. Don't you think that the Dudleys need another tag team to feud with? Because they're doing this thing with Edge and Christian just way too much.
Well, on SmackDown they got the Hardys.
I like to see them fight the Acolytes because I think that'd be really interesting.
I think that'll happen at some point.
Sure.
Too.
Okay, another thing. Be nice to Julie. The woman she just needs to be nice to.
Well, we want to be nice to her.
We tried to get her on MTV. She was going to be on MTV. She was going to be the next MTV superstar.
If you have a puppy and it puddles in the floor, you still take a newspaper and whack it on the butt.
Yeah.
That's what we've done to Julia tonight.
Julie's a very nice lady that people should respect.
The only problem with Julia is she just couldn't find the floor.
Bye.
See, he likes you.
Yeah, you got a fan, the Undertaker guy.
He's going to pull up the website, ilovejulia.com.
I think so.
It's going to be big. It's going to be absolutely huge.
That's nice.
Yeah. We talked about, top of the show, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes. You were not a big fan of Dusty Rhodes this past Monday.
No, I'm not a big fan of Dusty Rhodes anyway. I think that Dusty Rhodes is, the guy's a legend and all, but I've never, and I got in an argument about this the other day with a whole bunch of guys. So
you got an argument?
I got in an argument with a whole bunch of workers too, and that's the last place you want to get in an argument with. But no, I've always thought that Ric Flair carried Dusty Rhodes, through each and every one of their matches, and it sickened me every time that these consummate wrestlers, the Four Horsemen, had to basically wait and wait and wait for that atomic elbow, the dumbest move in wrestling. If you saw, it's the same thing with the Hulk Hogan match, though. It's one of the reasons I don't like him. This is how Dusty Rhodes, I can describe every single Dusty Rhodes match to you. Start off, Dusty Rhodes starts getting the guy, all right, then he gets beaten down, and beaten down some more, and beaten down some more, and then he does what I call the twitch. And him and Hulk Hogan had this thing called the twitch, and what the twitch was, they'd be beaten down, and then for some nerve ending in their body finally woke up, and they were able to get up and move and finally beat the guy, and to the point where it's like the guy's punches didn't affect him anymore, and then they went into this terrible rant where they started shaking and stuff, and to watch Dusty Rhodes shake is not a pleasant experience. And that is why I don't like Dusty Rhodes.
But Dusty Rhodes' character, I thought, was always a good one. I thought that he always had, even though he garbles the English language worse than I do, he I thought, did a tremendous job as far as getting over with the fans. He had charisma. You got to give him that. You have got to give him that. He knew how to work a crowd. And this past Monday, that was the loudest pop in a WCW arena in
of course, they were in Baltimore. Him and Flair had like the best matches.
But it was probably the most electric feeling that's been in WCW in years.
And I still want to know, has anyone done any testing on that purple thing that's on his stomach? Because I want to know what that thing is. It's like he took Gorbachev's head and put him in a headlock and some of that rubbed off.
I think it's maybe one of those alien Stone Cold saw down in Texas.
That might be it.
That could be it. Hey, we got to take a break. We come back. We're going to talk to the Sandman, find out what's going on with him, find out what's going on with ECW.
Oh, and you're listening to.
I thought you're normally on this. You've done this for like 2 months.
But you did say the Wrestling Guys. You're listening to the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5.
Nice segue.
Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys radio show. I am Willie F. See, now, you know what? If you tell me what you want me to do, coming in and out of a segment, I can do it.
You have done this show with me now for, like, what, 2 months?
Something like that.
You've done this show off and on for 2 years.
I'm still green, though.
Okay,
you have to understand, that even though I've only been here 2 months, you're still... it takes a while in this business.
I understand.
I'm still a greenhorn. What can I say?
You're still a greenhorn.
That's right.
I've heard a lot of things to describe you. I don't know if greenhorn is that, but we are the Wrestling Guys. Shawn Stidham, Willie F. Again, Marty Adams on that very special assignment. And joining us now on the hotline, the hardcore icon from Extreme Championship Wrestling. He's been in the business for about 12 years. We have the proper music, I think, to introduce him. See, Julia's on the ball tonight.
That's good.
Julia's doing a nice job tonight.
No, we like girls that are on the ball.
Sandman, how you doing?
What's going on, guys?
Not a lot, obviously. A lot about you. Everything with ECW. Kind of get us up to speed. What's going on?
Actually, I don't. You guys probably know just about as much as I do. We hear that Paulie's maybe has a deal with Vince. We hear somebody's still trying to looking into getting a number to buy ECW. You know what I mean? So it's looking 50-50 right here.
We've heard stuff over the last week that, he's been in L.A. so much talking with guys from FX. We've heard that maybe AAA was going to get involved and maybe purchase part of it. We've heard the stories about Paulie maybe being a booker with Vince McMahon or something along those lines.
Yeah, everybody's heard that one. That's the one I was referring to.
Now, there's a lot of guys who say, we're holding out hope that Paul Heyman can turn this thing around. Do you think Paul has another miracle in him to save this company?
I wouldn't doubt that guy, you know what I mean? Every time everybody thought the chips were down and he was supposed to be folding up shop, he always kept us going. So, for right now, I have to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Hey, this Saturday, you're going to be back in the old stomping ground, so ECW Arena, wrestling for Jersey All-Pro.
Yeah.
Kind of weird being in that building and not being under the ECW banner?
I don't know. I haven't been there yet.
Any feelings like that?
Yeah, any feelings about going back there? I mean, you were...
Same people in the audience.
Do you have any regrets when you left ECW the first time? Of course, everyone knows, you went to WCW.
No, none whatsoever.
Okay, good.
You got paid well.
You got very paid well.
Real well, or not too many matches.
Did you feel like that you were kind of out of your element, though? Like they really didn't know how to effectively use you?
No, not at all. You know what? Everybody says this. I just did another wrestling show, a radio show earlier today. Those guys put me on Monday night, 9 o'clock to 9. Which is one of their hardest 15-minute segments to run. They put me on like 8 out of 10 weeks in a row. They gave me 3-minute interviews. They had me win every time I did a pay-per-view. You know what I mean? So if you ask me, I think they did do good things with me.
That's true. That's a good point.
I mean, if you think about what I just said, what other chance are you going to get up there with the people that were running the show?
Sure.
And I knew going in I was going to get a chance to be a top guy. You know what I mean? They gave me a 3-minute interview and a 10-minute match every Monday night. You know what I mean? So, if you ask me, they were doing something with me.
Now, you've also got a few other interests outside of wrestling. You've talked about the wrestling school, and also you kind of got into the bar business, right?
Yeah, I just opened up Hacks Sports Lounge in Delaware. I opened up Sandman's wrestling school there, too, in the same building. I got some construction stuff out in Salt Lake City, too, you know what I mean? But you got to keep yourself diversified. My wrestling career could be over tomorrow. I could get my neck broken tomorrow in the ring when my wrestling career's done. You need another way to make money besides this business.
What actually is the worst injury you've ever gotten in the ring so far?
Broken C4, just like Austin had in a match against Cactus at the arena, and didn't even know it. I didn't even find out until 3 years later. I had another neck injury, and they thought I broke my neck. They took the MRI, and they said, well, you know what, you're right, you didn't break your neck this time. This injury is like 3 years old.
How can you break your neck and not know it for 3 years?
It hurt. You know what I mean? My neck hurt for a while, but I didn't think it was broken. I broke it right in half.
Jeez.
And I was getting cracked by my chiropractor. I should have been paralyzed or something. I'm just lucky, I guess.
If this is, and we hope this isn't the case, but if ECW is done, what is the one memory that's the best for you out of this entire period?
Ooh, that's a good one. I guess me and Tommy Dreamer doing the blind angle with Nancy and my wife. Me and Cactus Jack, barbed wire. Me and Funk when I pulled Funk out of the box one time. Me and Sabu. Stairway to Hell or ladders, tables, and chairs at the one pay-per-view, you know what I mean? Tommy Dreamer, Sabu, Cactus. I had some stuff I did with Todd Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like with ECW, it was always so. And one of the things that was so great was how passionate the fans are, and it seemed like you guys really fed off of that, and you really wanted to go the extra mile, just because even though maybe it was only 300 people in a small building, it was still such a love almost. You really wanted to give everything you had for them.
Well, yeah, just you know, when you knew when you got a job in ECW that you had to have a good work ethic. You know what I mean? And Paul knows that. And everybody, you know, it didn't matter if it was 300 or 1,500. It doesn't really matter to me. When I go out there, it's like at one point I'm so into my match that I could tune the crowd out. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily need a big crowd to feed off of. You know what I mean? I go to the ring for myself. You know, just as much as I do for the money and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I don't need anybody to hype me up, but some guys, yeah, they do, and they step it up a notch.
Plus, I mean, it must be great to go out and know that you have the longest wrestling entrance in wrestling history.
5 minutes, 16 seconds.
Yeah, exactly, and that people pop for it absolutely every single time that you come out.
Yeah, it's lovely.
How did you come up with the name, the Sandman and the music and all that? Where was the inspiration?
Sandman, the guy that ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling, before that was Eastern Championship Wrestling, and before that was Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. That's the guy I started with. So I have over 5 years more experience than anybody else in that company, including bosses, anybody. I've been there longer than anybody, 12 years. And that guy, the first promoter, Joe Goodhart, he saw a billboard, Mr. Sandman Box Spring and Mattress, and I was in his wrestling school, so I started being Mr. Sandman.
It's kind of amazing sometimes where we get our inspiration.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, off a mattress commercial, I got my name. A mattress sign, you know.
I'm a little bit stunned by that, but that's amazing.
I always thought it came from the comic book, that Sandman comic book.
I didn't even know about that book until Raven showed it to me when he first came into ECW.
See, now I know something. Now it's going to be a Trivial Pursuit question at some point down the road.
There you go.
Yeah, hey, hopefully.
What kind of boss is Paul Heyman to work for?
Oh, he's the best, man. Paul is the guy's one of the geniuses in this business, and the best thing is he lets you go out there and be you. He gives you a roundabout idea, but lets you work out most of the details. That's what I love. That's why I love working for him so much.
We're talking to the Sandman, of course, here on the Wrestling Guys. With everybody else, we've heard lately, Just Incredible signed a deal with the WWF. Steve Corino backstage at Nitro this past Monday. Any thought of yourself? Do you want to go back to one of the big two? Obviously, that's where the guarantee money is. Are you more content doing your own thing and going to?
No, if things were the same, I would take it just as it was the money that I was making and have ECW running again and stay right there. I don't want to go on the road 20 days a month, like for WWF and stuff like that. I will if I have to, but for right now, if the best thing for me would be the ECW get back up and running again, because that's where I'm the happiest.
I think ideally that's what we all really want to see and hope for. What's the phone number if people want to come to your wrestling school, or maybe they just want to stop by and get a cold one at your bar? What's the number they can call to get information?
The same number that's on. And I even forget I got like 4 numbers in my house. I forget which one we use for the wrestling school. But it's the same number that I put out on One Wrestling, the one that Dave Shear does.
Yeah.
What's that called?
OneWrestling.com.
Yeah, OneWrestling.com. Look it up in there, and then I'll give you which number it is.
610-356-3224.
32. Yes, that's it.
All right, there you go. And what kind of students do you have in your wrestling school so far?
I got about 8 guys, and a couple of them look real promising. And I was just talking to them, believe it or not, the big guy who used to be the guy that was in the Oddities, the tallest guy.
Yeah, I know, the Giant Silva.
Yeah, somebody that's in my wrestling school knows him, and he was asking about that he wanted to come down and work. Apparently, they sent him to like Mexico and sent him to all these other places. He was under a contract with Vince. For all this time, and Vince just let him go, apparently, or something like that. So there's guys like that we're looking. So I got a 7'6" guy that's looking to figure out how to work. You know what I mean? And I got guys that are 5'6", 150 pounds. And I got my 11-year-old son in there is a better worker than half the guys on some of these indies that I see.
Did you get any people whenever you said, hey, I'm going to start up a wrestling school, because you were so associated with the hardcore and the kendo sticks and the barbed wire, people kind of like, laughed a little bit?
Well, yeah, but it was always known that I'm not the teacher of the school. You know what I mean? I have somebody, I don't know, the wristlock from a wristwatch practically. You know what I mean? And people don't ask me to do that in the ring. I don't know the names of them. I know how to do them all your switches and all that stuff. I can do that 450 splash. I can do the shooting star, but I just don't do the shit because they don't ask me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm not the main teacher of the school anyway. You know what I mean? I have other people doing that for me. I have a guy that was in the Olympics that won a silver medal in the Olympics who's going to start training some guys in some Roman Greco. I got some black belts that are training guys that way. I got some pro wrestlers, so they're getting trained in a mix of different things.
All right, sounds like you got a lot going for you.
See, that's why a lot of people.
If ECW gets back up and running, I will. You know what I mean? You got to have other ways to make money. You know, your wrestling career can be over tomorrow.
Absolutely, and I think it's great that you're bringing a lot of those guys into the school because
I start my own federation too.
Right.
I got a bar, I got a big room there that hold like 500 people. I'll start running my own shows and stuff. Because I want to make my own talent, just the way ECW started. He didn't like have to bring in a lot of names. You know what I mean? He's just homegrown guys.
Well, you've definitely been in one of the best. I mean, my personal favorite out of the major three. So, and you've been backstage to see all of it and see how it's done. So I think you have a good shot at that.
Thanks.
Hey, one thing I want to ask you about before we go. The last ECW show, a lot of people made it to believe that there was this farewell celebration, and you and Tommy and those guys were kind of saying goodbye. Spike Dudley came out later and said, no, that really wasn't the case. In your mind, at the time, did it feel like a goodbye ceremony to you?
It was a just in case. It was a just in case this is our last one.
Gotcha.
That's it. That's all it was.
And, of course, you've never needed a reason to celebrate with a few beers, right?
Hell no.
All right. Sandman, appreciate the time. Thank you very much. Hopefully, like I told you before, we've got a number of indie federations around here. I know you're taking indie bookings. Hopefully one of those can hook up with
I'm waiting out Paul right now, and that could be a couple months.
So between now and March, you've got some time on your hands.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you soon. Sandman, appreciate the time. Thank you very much. Sandman from Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Absolutely.
I think he had a few beers going into the interview, too.
You think?
Maybe one or two.
All right. Well, maybe he was like Hack then.
He at some points he's Hack. At some points he's the Sandman.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, that makes sense. Like Willie F. Brock Guffman.
We're
going to take a break. Please. When we come back, we could take some phone calls tonight.
All right.
That might be an idea. 457-1065. We are the Wrestling Guys.
On Buckeye Country 106.5.
Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5. I am Shawn Studham, Willie F. And if you're just joining us, you've kind of missed a very loaded show tonight.
You've missed a loaded show.
We just had Sandman, who, speaking of loaded, he can be that way. Great interview. Appreciate that time. And Bobby the Brain Heenan earlier.
That's right.
David McClane from WOW.
I don't know who else could you put on this show?
Well, we had Raj on.
Well, we did have Raj on then.
So there was somebody else we could put on the show.
And we had the Undertaker guy who thinks that Julia's sweet.
I've heard a lot of people. Never mind. Anyway, get you recapped on the news in case you are just joining us. Calgary Sun reporting today the trial of the British Bulldog is going to happen July 17th. That is for threatening his brother-in-law, Bruce Hart. By the way, Davey Boy is dating Bruce Hart's estranged wife. Nice.
That's good.
Word is that Shawn Michaels is closing down his wrestling school. Apparently, some guys who have sent the $5 to get the information about the school, the brochures and whatnot, received an email saying that Michaels is closing the school to pursue other interests.
That's right. It was like a 900 number to call, too, to get the information. That's wild.
Well, I knew that, there was some talk about, I guess, 4 or 5 months ago, that he was having a tough time with his TWA promotion.
Right.
And there's a lot of problems right now in the independent wrestling scene nationwide.
Sure,
with people struggling because, to run an indie federation and to put on a show is not cheap.
It is not cheap at all. And I know that for a fact. It is definitely not cheap. And, the more it costs, let's, talk about, Raj, bringing in the people from ECW. And the thing is, that's why people have to come out and support, like, these, the independent shows that are going around this area, because it's not cheap. And these guys basically bust their butts and, to put on a decent show. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, if it's not supported by the fans of wrestling, you can go out and say, wow, I didn't like that show as much as what I saw on Monday night, or you could actually go, wow, all right, that was pretty cool.
In some cases,
I've been to both, you know, and at the same time, but at the same point, you know what? I respect each and every one of those guys for going out and trying to, and they really do. They try to put on the best possible show that they possibly can, and they're fulfilling a dream, that they've had to do it, and they really are doing it for the fans. I mean, and that I have to commend that.
If you look at a guy, if you take Todd from BCW or Steven OCW or Roger, any of those guys that run the federations around here, the goal isn't to make money. The goal is to break even.
Exactly.
So they're not in it for the money.
They're not in it for the money.
They're in it for the love.
Yeah.
They enjoy doing it, and certainly we want to see them succeed. Other news, Brian Clark of Chronic is going to get a CAT scan tomorrow. You'll see him get whacked in the head by an animal tonight with a steel chair on Thunder, and from there he passed out in the ring, has suffered some severe headaches and whatnot since. What do you look like you have humor in that.
No, I just yawned. That's all.
Oh, because I said Thunder?
I don't know. It was either that or Chronic. It was one of the two.
Thunder tonight, Rick Steiner, Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, I'm doing it now. And ratings, Raw did a 5.4, Nitro did a 2.6, including a quarter hour of 3.0 at 9 o'clock, which, of course, was the highlighted Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair competition.
Unprecedented in recent Nitro.
Which Willie was a huge fan of this past Monday night. Let's go ahead and take a couple quick calls.
Crusty Bloats, as we used to call him, as a matter of fact.
Crusty Bloats?
Crusty Bloats.
If you will. Julia, there's 2 line 2s up here. I don't know which one.
I think the Violent C guy's gone.
Violent C's gone. Let's go to Too Sweet Steve. Too Sweet, how are you?
Real good.
Good.
How are you guys?
Just fine.
Just great. Just doing a little show.
I'll just call her and tell you guys are great. I call your hotline all the time, and I really appreciate the information you guys give out.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Any questions or comments tonight?
I've enjoyed hearing the Sandman, and I've just enjoyed the show. I just called to tell you guys you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much.
Appreciate that. Your check's in the mail.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Very nice.
That was nice.
Very nice.
I like getting little pats on the back every now and then.
It feels very good. Line 1, Greg, how are you?
Hey.
Hey.
Got a couple questions.
Okay.
Is Scott Steiner stiff or something? He's hurt like every wrestler he's been in the ring with. I mean,
he has been known to work a little snug. He is from definitely the school of, if I don't break you, then it's okay, but I better at least make it look like it's not kayfabe.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy who did a German suplex on Big Show, the Giant.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a guy you take pretty seriously in the ring.
Okay, and my other one, I was wondering if the HWA, are they planning on coming back to the Gateway, or?
I don't think they're going to go back to Gateway.
Yeah.
I know there's some talk about them coming back to Dayton, but I don't think anything is set yet. They're kind of, I think, getting ready for a spring and summer schedule, getting some things organized right now. We can tell you this, that after talking with the WWF and Jim Ross and WCW, the date of the Pillman has been moved. It's going to be now in early August. There were some, scheduling conflicts, and obviously the Pillman, is so special because of the participation of the WWF and other organizations. So, to appease them and to get some of the talent they wanted, they agreed to move the Pillman to
I think
August.
it's a much better time for Pillman anyways, is that time, as long as they get some fans in that building. Or if they're doing it in the same place. The other thing I can say is, someone kill me if this is the wrong date, but
Jordan is jumping up and down now. She's checking.
March 17th? Is that a Friday? So
yes, it is.
There's no calendar in there.
I think it is Friday.
All right, then March 17th is the next time that HWA comes back to the Grand Victoria, and do not know who's going to be on that. But, what?
Nothing.
Well, you know who's going to be on it?
No, I don't. No, I've heard some stuff, but I can't say yet.
Okay, all right, fine.
Okay. Anything else, Greg?
Yeah, just a quick pick. Who do you think's going to play in the XFL championship game this year?
I'll go with the Hitmen, just because I like that name.
And now the Hitmen's that's Las no.
I don't know what city it is. I just know the names. Wait, Chicago's the Enforcers, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was always more of an Arn Anderson fan. I'll go with. I was always a Bulls fan, a Dick Butkus fan, and an Arn Anderson fan. So combine those two, I'll go with Chicago Enforcers. Don't ask me who's playing on the teams. I have no idea, but I'm going to tune in Saturday.
The first game is Saturday, 8 o'clock, ABC. Check it out.
NBC.
NBC. You're right.
Yeah,
sorry. All right. I don't know why I was thinking ABC.
Yeah, now Vince isn't coming on next week. You screwed that up.
Oh,
anyway. Hey, Greg, who do you think's going to go in?
I really don't know. I go with the Hitman myself.
Well, there you go.
Throw a...
All right. Well, Greg, appreciate the phone call. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye. Greg is just a very laid-back guy.
I'm thinking that there's a definite outbreak of Prozac or something, or somebody's like, because like the last two people and then Sandman too. I'm just wondering if, people just seem like, they got a little mellow vibe going on tonight that, that I don't know, maybe I need to tap into. It could be. It's Wednesday. Everyone's getting ready for Temptation Island. Kind of sitting back, just had like the big second helping of beef stroganoff. Getting ready for like the Temptation Island thing to kick on. And yeah, they're just, hey, well, I'll just flip on the TV and see, or flip on the radio and see what's on. And, wrestling.
There you go, yeah. Real quick, we want to mention next week, a couple of interviews we have lined up. First of all, and this is tentative. I want to put, the big flashing neon sign tentative on this one. Yeah. Rob Van Dam is scheduled to join us next week here on Wrestling Guys. Again, big tentative on that. Because we've had problems with Rob before.
Yes,
Rob lives on the West Coast.
Rob's had a lot of problems, like, trying to... There's only one time that he knows what it is. And
yes. And unfortunately, on the West Coast...
You do the interview at Well, here, I'll finish the joke. You do the interview at 4:20, and I bet you he'll be there.
But anyway, so that's tentative. Also, had an interesting conversation last night. The former Nitro girls, Fire and Spice, who they've teamed up with some of the other, like Shy and Shay and all those, and they've formed their own little group now called Diversity 5. They want to come on the program next week, and so certainly I don't think we have any problem with some Nitro girls on the program.
No,
absolutely.
I never have a problem with any Nitro girls coming on the program.
Okay, real quick, let's go to line 2 and talk to Andy in Kettering. Andy, how are you?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
I just got two real quick things.
Okay.
First off, Shawn, do you still need the Bowman tape?
No, I don't. That's okay. I think so.
Okay, and I was wondering, about a year ago, there was a student at Shawn Michaels' school that was hurt real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was wondering if he lived, or if, do you have any info on him?
I'm assuming he lived, because I think if he had died, I think we would have heard about it.
That would have been big-time news.
Yeah. I know that when the injury occurred, it was a student from Britain, I believe.
Yes.
And he was paralyzed, and Shawn Michaels, I know, flew the guy's parents and his girlfriend over to the United States, and I think he took care of all their hotel and everything else, so they could be with him. And I'm pretty sure he picked up the medical bills, too, which, maybe that's the reason, he's in the financial situation that he's in. But, as far as I know, the guy lived, thankfully. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Appreciate the phone call, Andy. Thank you very much. Real quick, want to mention again, this coming Saturday, Outlaw Championship Wrestling returns to the John Bryan Community Center. Dr. of Love called in. We have 5 sets of tickets to give away. If you want to win a pair of those tickets, call us now on the Wrestling Guys at 457-1065. And Julie will take your name and number. The first 5 callers will get tickets to go to the OCW show this Saturday.
Can I get on my cell phone and call up?
You can't win. You see, I had this problem with Marty.
Did you?
Marty always thought that he could win. When Buckeye was giving away $5,000, he thought
I don't want
he could
that.
win that.
I don't want that. I just want some wrestling tickets.
If you're a part of this station, you can't win the stuff we give away.
I just want wrestling tickets. That's it.
I think we can get you in.
All right.
I think, we can call
Where
Steve
is it again?
Slide you. It's the John Bryan Community Center, Yellow Springs. You'll be okay.
All right. That's cool. Okay. No, I don't have anything. I don't have anything planned for Saturday.
Good. Well, you'll be at the show. Sunday on the Wrestling Guys hotline, you can do a full report.
Okay. I might do that. Oh, wait a minute. No, XFL. So I may be at the show.
Well, I think the XFL's in the afternoon.
No, it's not. It's 8 o'clock.
Is it? Well, you could tape it. Get TiVo or something. All right, look at that. A lot of people felt that way, and when we come back on the Celebrity Hotline, David McClane, the owner and founder of WOW, he's going to join us. We're going to talk more about the pay-per-view, and WOW has a very big cult following, especially here in this area.
Absolutely,
it's growing by leaps and bounds. We're going to talk to David when we come back. We are the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5. Can't win the stuff we give away.
I just want wrestling tickets. That's it.
I think we can get you in.
All right.
I think we can call
Where
Steve
is it again?
and slide you. It's the John Bryan Community Center, Yellow Springs. You'll be okay.
All right. That's
You'll be
cool.
okay.
No, I don't have anything. I don't have anything planned for Saturday.
Good. Well, you'll be at the show. Sunday on the Wrestling Guys Hotline, you can do a full report.
Okay. I might do that. Oh, wait a minute. No, XFL. So I may be at the show.
Well, I think the XFL's in the afternoon.
No, it's not. It's 8 o'clock.
Is it? Well, you could tape it. Get TiVo or something.
All right.
And then tonight, again, the Women of Wrestling Unleashed live on pay-per-view. Bobby the Brain Heenan makes his return to wrestling along with that four-way dance hair match, which
I can't wait to see that, actually.
You got Ice Cold and Poison and Patty Pizzazz and Lana Starr. They're all going to be in the ring. The loser gets her head shaved right there, center of the ring. And just to hear Bobby Heenan again on a wrestling program, well worth the $19.95 cost to get the pay-per-view.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
And again, we want to plug the Wrestling Guys Hotline. 285-0991 is the phone number. And anytime you need up to speed on the world of wrestling, you can give us a call.
That's right. And we want to thank, once again, our lovely producer, Julia, for totally dissing us this past weekend.
Let's move on from that. You have to learn to forgive. And I think that's what we need to do now.
I forgive. I just,
you don't have to forget, but we need to forgive.
But anytime I can, dig a little bit more, that's fine.
Anything for the purpose of the for the radio show.
That's right. That's why I come in here and do this, Shawn.
One other thing, I do not want to forget this. Tickets go on sale this weekend for the UCW and UPWA ECW Superstar Live Pro Wrestling Show, Thursday, February 15th at the 755 Union Hall on Woodman Drive. For information about the show, call 640-2794. Again, kids 10 and under get 50% off their ticket with an adult admission. And Tommy Dreamer, Francine, Rhino, New Jack, all on the card, including other guys like Big Jim Hutchinson, Chris Hero, Logan Kane locally. They're all going to be part of this show, so it's going to be a good time.
And plus, I guess the live viewer call-in then on Valentine's Day, too.
A Valentine's Day live viewer call-in with Tommy Dreamer and Francine.
I want to see that.
You want to be in that.
I want to see that.
You want to be a part of that.
I don't know.
What kind of questions do you think they'll get on Valentine's Day?
I don't know. The callers of those live talk shows. Well, we all know callers of live talk shows. Is Undertaker back yet? And stuff like that.
Don't do that.
What? That's
you're being heel Willie now.
No, I'm sorry. I'll be nice Willie.
You'll be a nice Willie. Okay.
I'm the nice
Julia,
Willie.
you okay now? Did you give away all the tickets? You have to. Okay. But are you okay now? I mean, I know we've kind of picked on you. You're fine? Okay. So next time we set something up like this for you, you'll show up?
Are you going through the change?
What is that?
I just wanted to know. She's been in that mood, and I didn't know. She may be going through the change.
I don't think
I've heard about that.
I don't think she's going through the change. Our time is done. Thank you very much. We want to thank again Bobby the Brain Heenan, Dave McClane. Also want to thank the Sandman. We are the Wrestling Guys. We'll be back next week. Until then, have a great day. Later. Good evening, how are you? It is another Wednesday. That means the Wrestling Guys back on Buckeye Country 106.5. I'm Shawn Stidham, Willie up in the studio. Julia, and it just kind of blended in together there. You get words crossed sometimes.
Yeah, I know
how it is. Julia now this week can talk.
Yes.
Last week she was grounded, and now this week, if she wishes to talk, she can do so.
She was a little upset about that last week. I think that we may just drop that because, I know she has a headache now because it's probably just lingering over from the past week. But, are you all right? You can talk.
Okay, yeah.
See, I'm telling you.
Julie, there's a hint. When you want to talk on the radio, there's this thing called a microphone that's in front of you. You want to turn that on before you actually speak. That way people can hear you. I know this is Radio 101. I can call Sam Collier at ICB and get you a course. I might get you in for a free, evaluation.
No, that's okay.
You sure?
I lost my pen.
Well, see, yeah. Last week was the purse. This week it's the pen.
It's always something.
I lost my pen. That's what I was looking around for.
Okay, I understand.
Have a few guests lined up tonight.
Yes.
Let's move into the show now.
All right.
Okay. Coming up around 7:30 or so, Tigress and Paisley. Up until last week, they were employed by WCW. No, they're not.
Yes. No, they're not with them anymore.
I didn't know that.
You know what? You need to, like...
I don't watch WCW.
All you have to do is call the hotline. That is it.
The Wrestling Guys hotline, 285-0991. Who cares? We have people from Detroit call.
Yep.
California, Florida.
The tie-dye guy. We have
tie-dye guy. His postcards in here from Florida. Yeah. We had the one guy. What was the guy down in like South Carolina that has promotion or whatever called in that one week? He called in. Yeah, but Julie, no, too busy. So anyway,
that's okay.
And then around 8 o'clock or so.
I wouldn't spoil it yet.
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, do you want to?
I want to say who it is, but we had a problem with this guy at one point as far as, getting the time.
See, that's why I don't want to say it yet.
8 o'clock, big interview is scheduled, so just hang on.
I can give a hint.
No hints.
No hints.
No hints. But I talked with him today, and he confirmed he would be on.
Okay.
So, we'll find out. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the news. We don't want to spend a lot of time on the XFL, but after the first week, there's a lot of interest, so we'll talk about it a little bit tonight.
Woo-hoo!
But thanks, Julia. You remember that thing I said about turning on your microphone? Just disregard that. Just forget I said that. Anyway, today, Rudy Martzke in his USA Today column revealed that Jim Ross has been moved up to the #1 broadcast team with Jesse Ventura.
Well, I think he should have. I mean, I watched... Did you watch the game?
Yes.
On Saturday?
Yes.
The Orlando game was much better, not only from a game standpoint, but also from a broadcasting standpoint, and I think that Jim Ross did a much better job.
Rudy Martzke, who is kind of the Siskel and Ebert combined of sports journalism and television sports broadcasting, he did not like Jim Ross's commentary. And one of his criticisms was that Jim Ross called the game a slobber knocker on this past Saturday. It's kind of like, you remember the Super Bowl campaign that WWF had last year with Get It.
Yeah.
Do you get it? Well, I think that's what a lot of these, everyday sports journalists and broadcasters, they don't get it. As far as calling it a slobber knocker, and Jerry Lawler saying he's in the land of milk and honeys when looking at the cheerleaders and stuff like that. So there's a whole generation out there that really is into that style of broadcasting and really appreciate what they can do. And Jim Ross is not a rookie when it comes to football play-by-play. He's former broadcaster with the Atlanta Falcons. Jesse Ventura used to do color analyst for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and first time those two have teamed up since WCW. So
I think it's actually a very interesting mix. I'm very curious to be watching the game on Saturday.
And Matt Vansgersen, who was with Jesse Ventura this past Saturday, he has now moved in with Jerry Lawler. They will be on the second game, so there's a chance you may still hear Lawler if they switch over to the second game.
How do you think Lawler feels about that?
Lawler got an F from Rudy Martzke. He just did not like Lawler. Didn't like Jim Ross, but...
Really didn't like Jerry Lawler.
But, Jim Ross, the great thing was he called it, just like he does with wrestling, where every play could be the biggest play of the game.
Yep.
And, when the touchdown was scored, touchdown, my God, touchdown,
Yeah.
It was great. I ate that up. So, anyway, you will be able to see that this Saturday. WWF.com reporting that due to the overwhelming response, they are extending the deadline for people to submit audition tapes for Tough Enough until this Saturday. So you still have about another 48 hours or so to get your tape in there. And, of course, Julia would have been a part of that, but she totally blew that up. Nice job, Julia. Ratings are in. Raw a 5.0, Nitro a 2.3. Both shows down in the ratings this week. A little bit surprising because not really anything going on which should have taken away from a standard broadcast.
I think it was Robert Downey on Ally McBeal.
The final edition with Robert Downey.
I think so, yeah.
Ally McBeal.
Last time that you'll see him on any kind of programming.
Yeah, because, Ally McBeal and
I don't know if he's gone, but he may be gone in real life here real soon.
Ally McBeal in wrestling, I guess there's a lot of crossover in that audience.
Yeah, of course.
That's possible.
Of course.
Anyway, yesterday...
There's a lot of people that would like to pin, Calissa Flockhart or whatever her name is.
Well, that's a whole different story right there. But yesterday, down in Atlanta, GA, WCW asked a judge to dismiss the racial discrimination lawsuit filed by Sonny Ono and 13 other former employees of WCW. We'll find out in about 10 days what the judge decides. You might remember Sonny Ono was on this program last year talking about the mock Chinese menu that was distributed around WCW headquarters. One thing which does not look good for WCW, Randy Pee Wee Anderson, former referee and former member of the booking team, apparently in a deposition he said that he felt that black wrestlers training at the power plant were not given the same opportunities as white wrestlers. And one of the former employees described the power plant as a plantation. They also used quotes from a Vince Russo interview, which he categorized as derogatory towards Asian wrestlers. So that will be very interesting for WCW to see what happens with that.
Nice thing to buy the company and just walk into that.
Great bit of publicity right there. How you doing, Fusant Media Ventures?
Yeah. Enjoy.
Slam Wrestling is reporting that Killers Kozłowski, I never get Kowalski. I never get that name right. Anyway, a little bit upset with the recent autobiography from Chyna, where in it, Chyna claims that she hooked up with the WWF after meeting Shawn Michaels and Triple H by random. And according to the Killer, he says that she's lying. He's the one that got her the deal with the World Wrestling Federation when he called up Shane McMahon and introduced Chyna to him. He then told Shane that Kevin Nash called in from WCW. They were interested in signing Chyna, and that if they want her, they need to get her while they can. Then the Killer said after Chyna got her deal with the World Wrestling Federation, she severed all ties with him, with his wrestling school, and at various occasions when he's tried to talk to her, such as Owen Hart's funeral, she has given him the cold shoulder. So, not, a little bit of miscommunication there.
A little bit of bitterness too. I mean, who cares how she got there? Does anyone really care?
Well, but if you are Killer and you run a wrestling school, and you were responsible for getting her in there, that's something you want to be able to say. I mean, Killer's trained a lot of guys. He's trained Perry Saturn, trains Prince Albert, so he's got a lot of people. But Chyna is a A-level name. I mean, a top-level star. And if he can say, come to my wrestling school, we're the ones that trained Chyna, which I don't think there's any doubt that Chyna was trained by him. Right. But, the fact that, she basically is blowing him off as not having anything to do with her getting a WWF deal. Maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong, don't know. But also, she apparently takes a lot of shots in the book at him, making fun of his toupee, and just the fact he's a weird guy.
Well, maybe that's why she gives him the cold shoulder.
Which could be a real reason why she gives him the cold shoulder. Chili Willie doing just fine after having an emergency appendectomy over the weekend. He is expected to make a full recovery, so good news there. Thunder is on tonight, and in a match which could surpass Steamboat and Savage from WrestleMania 3. Lex Luger and Brian Clark. Or Brian Adams, whichever one. They are going to face off tonight on Thunder. That is going to be big.
To who?
Wild card. That's the only person. Right. But, somebody will love that match, and there you go. So, but that is on.
I'm so upset that I forgot to set the VCR before I came in.
Yeah, you set it for Temptation Island.
I did.
Okay. SmackDown is on tomorrow, obviously. Matches you will see include the Hardys taking on Perry Saturn and Chris Benoit. Al Snow takes on Rikishi. The Dudley Boys versus Edge and Christian. Hardcore Holly takes on Raven for the Hardcore Championship. Ivory and the Godfather and Buchanan and Richards, known as the RTC. They're going to go after Right to Nudity. I can't believe that.
Though, at the same time, I'd much rather be Cat than Minion.
And also, The Big Show takes on The Rock. That is all on SmackDown tomorrow night. WCW has canceled their April pay-per-view. They say that they're going to combine the April and May pay-per-views for just a huge extravaganza on May the 6th. And up in Canada, Viewer's Choice is going to replace it with a classic AWA package, which will include 3 one-hour specials, the Best of the Midnight Rockers, Best of the Road Warriors, and Best of Super Clash 3. The nice thing is, if you watch this classic AWA, not a lot of difference from that and the current WCW roster. Basically.
Wow.
Scott Hall.
Sure.
Road Warrior Animal.
Okay.
Super Clash. I'm trying to think who else was in Super Clash 3. There's a few others in there.
Kurt Hennig,
Kurt Hennig, yeah.
Kind of.
He was in Super Clash 3, yes.
Who else was there? Was Heenan at Clash 3?
Heenan wasn't at Clash 3. Was Jeff Jarrett? I think maybe.
Well, that's possible.
I think he was on that. So, anyway, if you're up in Canada, maybe they'll do something like that down here. But, anyway, that's all that. And that's about all the news we have. Kind of a slow news day. Again, if you want to catch up on the latest wrestling news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Wrestling Guys Hotline 285-0991, the phone number.
And you can call it even if it's long distance.
Even if it's long distance, get a calling card.
That's all
what
you
is
need.
it, like 5 cents a minute? You go
something
to BP or Stop and Go or wherever the heck. Stop and Go isn't around anymore. It's like, there's like Dairy Mart or something.
Yeah, but it's well worth the effort.
Absolutely. Gotta believe that. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, take some of your phone calls, talk about the XFL, whatever you want to. We are here for you.
It's an open forum.
Absolutely. Paisley and Tigers coming up at 7:30. We are the Wrestling Guys.
On Buckeye Country 106.5.
Gosh.
And you notice this is a big package as well.
It is.
But
which is different for you. But anyway.
This is from Mr. Bent.
Oh, cool. Let's see this.
What
This
is
is like
it?
a Valentine's Day thing. It's Godiva chocolates.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's very cool. So
Don't
you
even
see,
think
people
about
want to get their name on the radio. The one thing you do is you send us free stuff.
That's right. You know, and I actually was going to say, it's been a long time since we got pizza or anything else.
Mr. Big says, hey, guys, make sure Julia gets to indulge, too. So, wonderful.
You need to write that.
Thank you very much. And so we'll dig into this in a few minutes. But, Joe, thank you very much. Willie has your tip for you. So on your way out, check with him, and he'll hook you up.
Somewhere he does.
Anyway, Andy, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
I'm doing just fine.
I was just wondering where Mark Marrow was at.
Mark Marrow suffered an elbow injury in his one match with WCW. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
He's riding Sable's coattails. That's
but those coattails aren't that long anymore.
No, they're not.
But he's rehabbing from that. I would think that, it maybe, back me up on this, Willie, if you remember, I thought that Sable's agreement with the WWF, where she could not get involved with wrestling, ended in January of this year.
I think it did.
So, and there was a lot of thought that, once that would be, once that was up, that she would immediately go, run to WCW.
True.
Maybe, maybe with the budget cuts, maybe with the change in ownership, maybe there's just not...
Maybe that's one of the reasons that they dropped all the women.
That could be, just to afford Sable.
Right.
That could be.
Very
You never
possible.
know. But last year, and this is a true story, last year around the fall, she did call WWF and try to talk to Vince McMahon about maybe just, let's forget the lawsuits. Let's forget all the bickering. Let's just, make up, and I can come back and work, and it'll all just be, we can all sing around and sing Kumbaya. And they said, no, thanks. So, obviously...
Vince didn't know that tune. He didn't know the Kumbaya tune.
Not Dancing with Rena Mara, no. But, who knows? I would assume that she will come back in some capacity. In no way do I think she'll be back with the World Wrestling Federation.
No.
Hey, can I get some real quick shout-outs?
No. Anyway, let's go ahead and go up the line. It's a no shout-out night on the Wrestling Guys. It's fine. You call in, you have your question, just no shout-outs.
That's right.
And that's from Julia. It's not us. So if you get upset, it's Julia's fault. Because Julia has determined no shout-outs.
Thank you,
So don't
Julia.
even try. Julia, okay? All right, thanks. Line 2, Undertaker Guy. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
Good.
I got a question. When's Linda due back? Linda McMahon.
Good question.
I think they'll probably play out that, that she's in... They haven't really talked about her much.
Linda was on, CNBC this morning?
Yes.
I think that's what it was.
That's
and
what it was.
Did an interview talking about the XFL. And she still has a very public image as far as on the corporate side and business side of things. Storyline-wise, you got to think at some point with everything going on with Vince and Trish, that at some point she's going to have to get involved in this. They may be waiting around till WrestleMania. That's, normally... between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, there's normally a month or so where they just kind of lay quiet and kind of coast. So my guess is that probably on WrestleMania she'll be back.
Yeah, and there's any chance they're going to let the Undertaker and Kane have the belt because they seem to be going over real good as a tag team with the fans.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to see Undertaker and Kane have the belt. Because at the same point, that's going to break up here at some point.
But do the titles really mean anything anymore?
No, they don't.
I mean, but in the old days, and here we go, here's our age showing, you had the title reigns which lasted 6 months or, at least 3 months. And so the title reigns had more, there was more credibility to them now, I guess. Now, with the titles changing, you win the title on Monday, you drop it on Thursday, the title reigns just don't mean as much as they used to, so... I don't know. Titles are nice, but I just don't think, if they get the belts, so everybody gets the championship now.
Yeah, they'll let them win it off TV.
Okay,
I've been doing it with a whole bunch of other stuff off
Okay, I got
TV.
something to say for Valentine's Day. If you're from the same family, do not give Valentine's if you're from Kentucky to the same family members. Bye.
Okay.
Okay, well, there you go. A little
bit of advice.
The advice from the Undertaker guys. So, okay. That's nice.
Did you talk about that on the hotline at all, though? All
What's
the stuff that they've been doing off camera?
No, why don't you go ahead and enlighten us?
Okay. Well, you know how I had it on over the weekend. How K-Quick is actually now a former hardcore champion now. Did you see that?
No.
He actually won the belt on Saturday. Then Crash Holly came down, pinned K-Quick, and then Raven pinned Crash Holly.
It's sad to think that K-Quick actually got a win over Raven.
I know.
That's how far Scotty's career went down. That's sad. But
and also, did you talk about what happened on Monday night after the cameras went off?
No, I didn't. Why don't you go ahead and do that?
See, I got stuff I can talk about today.
See, that's good.
Actually, Austin gave the Stone Cold Stunner to Triple H, and I guess even the arena went silent because they went, "Oh no, that means 6 months. You know, he's got a 6-month suspension and his title shot's gone." Well, guess what? Well, it wasn't on TV.
If it doesn't happen on TV, it doesn't count.
Yeah,
that's the rule for the new millennium. Let's go to line 3, and it is Woodchuck. Woody, how are you?
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's up?
I got 3 quick things.
Go.
Okay, whatever happened to Dudley and Dentist Dudley?
To who?
Like Dudley.
Dudley.
I was watching early ECW. And they had Dudley and Dentist Dudley.
Don't know.
I'm not sure what happened either.
I'm not sure who played them.
I think they're pumping gas somewhere in South Carolina.
They're waiting table at the same man's bar. You go there, just make sure you tip them nicely. They'll put you through a table, too.
And speaking of Sandman, I want him to join my group.
Well, you know, you're just going to have to call him and ask him to join your group.
His number's out there.
Yep.
He's taking those bookings. He might join your group, but I think there's a price involved in that.
And he's a kindred spirit. Next, comes up to Metallica and next spiel. So.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
We're getting all kinds of advice stuff today.
You know, it's advice night on the Wrestling Guys. And,
I mean, next week, you know, is Valentine's Day,
which scares me. That's going to be a scary night.
That really scares me.
But we may have a very special surprise for next week. Jinx that either, but we'll see what happens. Let's go to Yellow Springs next and talk to Chris. Chris, hi, how are you? You're on the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5.
I'm doing fine tonight. I just want to know, when Shawn Michaels comes back, is he supposed to be a heel or a face?
I would say you're going to see him as a face if they're gonna have him go up against Triple H.
Okay, I got one more question.
Sure.
You guys like The Rock better when he was a face or a heel? Because I miss the old Rock when he used to use all those old phrases and all that kind of stuff. Ever since he's become a face, that he hasn't said all those old phrases like he used to. I mean, you might say some of them here and there, but everybody misses the old Rock though.
I'm just not a big fan of The Rock right now, and the reason is just because I think The Rock has gone. You know, I think he's just in repetition at this point. Every time that I see him, I mean, you know exactly how his match is going to go. I mean, you can take one match from one Monday and slap it into another Monday, and you have basically the same match.
Right. So I remember last week you said that he doesn't have all that moves too. For one thing, too.
It's true. I mean, you know, as far as if you talk to a lot of people now, is The Rock charismatic? Is he over? Yes, absolutely. But at the same time, if you talk to a lot of wrestlers per se, a lot of them do not have a lot of respect, for The Rock.
One thing which is really telling, and maybe this is, I think, this is more of a sign of his youth in the sport than really him as a person. But on the Beyond the Mat DVD, with the Mick Foley commentary, Mick Foley talks about how he was very upset with The Rock after the match. Was it Royal Rumble match?
Yeah,
Royal Rumble. After the 10, 15 chair shots The Rock gave Mick Foley. The Rock never went up to check on how Mick Foley was back in the locker room. And Mick Foley was a little bit taken back by that. You got to remember, The Rock has only really been around for 4 or 5 years, and he really didn't have to cut his teeth, working in the armories and the high school gyms or anything like that. He got a tryout with Pat Patterson. Don't make any jokes. And then he went down and wrestled in Memphis for about 2 months, 2 or 3 months. So
did Pat Patterson name The Rock bottom?
He could have. Who knows?
I was just wondering.
Anyway, him and Steve Lombardi. Anyway, but The Rock, he went down there, wrestled with Flex Gavanna for a few months, and then was immediately brought up and put into the World Wrestling Federation in less than a year. So he still has to learn, a little bit of locker room etiquette, I think. But there's no question. The guy's over. He knows how to work a crowd. And, if you know how to do that nowadays, that's about 80% of the battle.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, appreciate the phone call. Thank you very much. 457-1065 is our phone number. We are the Wrestling Guys, Buckeye Country 106.5. Looking at this Diversity 5, and again, Tigress.
Wait, do you have a picture of it?
I didn't bring the pictures in.
Well, why not?
We'll pull them up on the website.
Okay,
if you need some mental stimulation, which I'm assuming is what you need.
No, I get confused on which one's which.
Okay, Tigress used to be with the Filthy Animals.
Right. I remember her.
Paisley was with Kiwi.
Okay.
Are you all set up now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Anyway, the website is www.diversity5.com. Others in the group include Shay. I can never get that. Shay.
That's Shay.
Also, former Nitro Girls Fire and Spice are also part of the group
I like
well.
Spice. Spice was my favorite.
Spice is nice. According to the press release, Spice is the Dr. Melissa Bellin is the sassy flirt of the group.
No,
sassy.
Come on.
Yes.
She's sassy?
She is sassy. Sassy. Julia, are you sassy?
Julia's catatonic.
Julia is something.
She's not
I don't
sassy.
know what it is.
It's completely catatonic.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break. 457-1065 is our phone number if you want to hop on board the wrestling guys right here on
Buckeye Country 106.5.
Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5. I'm Shawn Stidham, Willie F. and Julia in here as well, and they would talk, but they're munching down the Godiva chocolate.
You know, it's really bad to eat chocolate when you're trying to do a talk show, too.
Yeah, you know, you get the caramel stuck in there and everything else.
Godiva, though.
Thanks again to Mr. Biggs for dropping those off. We always appreciate free food. Again, you want to get over with the Wrestling Guys. You want to get your name mentioned. Free food is always the key. Just remember that. I mean, Papa John's have done it. You know, the list goes on and on. Just bring by free food. We'll be more than happy
Absolutely.
to take care of you.
I'm not going to turn it down.
Real quick, Wade Keller of the Pro Wrestling Torch is reporting that there is a rumor going around that there are a few issues which could prevent the sale of WCW to Fusient really from going through. Now, a spokesperson with WCW says that rumor is absolutely not true, but a lot of people are talking about it. So just to kind of throw that out there for you tonight. So we will keep you up to date on that. On the Celebrity Hotline right now, you may know them more as Tigress and Paisley from World Championship Wrestling, but now they're showing a different side of their talent in the pop group known as Diversity 5. Charmel Sullivan, a former Miss Black America, and Vanessa Sanchez, according to the press release, the sultry Latin mistress of the group.
Sultry.
And for more details, you can see them at www.diversity5.com, and right now they are on the Wrestling Guys. Ladies, how are you tonight?
Fabulous. How are you?
Doing just fine. Who is this?
This is Tigress, Vanessa Sanchez, or I should say formerly known as Tigress.
You could still be known as Tigress.
Okay.
Absolutely. Now, you guys, last week, you know, I hate to bring this up, but last week you guys received your walking papers from the company, but it really wasn't so much, you know, personal towards you. A lot of people were let go last week.
Yeah, there were 5 women that were let go last week, and unfortunately we were 2 of them. But we kind of knew that there were going to be changes within the company since WCW was purchased by Fusions, and it wasn't a complete surprise, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. And again, you know, these things happen all the time. You know, corporate America, new boss in town, changes happen. You guys were around, though, you know, the last few weeks with Bischoff and company back. Can you describe what the back was like in the locker room? Any changes as far as the mood of the people or anything else?
I would have to say that actually everybody was working really hard, which I don't think everybody was doing before, just because, you know, morale was kind of low, we didn't know what was going on, and finally at that point when Eric came back on board, we knew what was going on, and so I think everybody was kind of motivated again to work hard and to put on a good show, because I think everybody at WCW really wants to, you know, be back on top, and they're willing to put in whatever it takes to be there.
Well, we hope so. The nice thing, you know, the one thing we did say is that it's nice to see somebody now in charge of WCW which actually cares about the product.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any chance maybe the 2 of you will come back as far as, you know, on a different restructured contract, or have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything. I've just read probably on the internet like everybody else that it's a possibility that, you know, they might try to bring us back at a later date, like you said, under a different contract. I'd be willing to do that. I mean, I don't have any bitter feelings or anything about what happened. I know that what's going on, they're trying to do what's best for the company right now. So, you know, maybe they've got a plan for us later on in the future. And, you know, I've got a family at WCW, and I miss everybody that I worked with. And I'm going to miss seeing Rey Mysterio's little dimples every week. But, you know, such is life. And, you know, you take what's given to you and you do what's best.
Yeah, because they really worked you guys out. I mean, you guys were training at the power plant for quite some time, correct?
Yeah, we sure were.
And I know I saw some footage of that. Medusa was putting you through the ringer.
That's the truth. When they were like, you're going to train at power plant, we're like, oh, yeah, we're going to go. Woo-hoo. And then we get there, and the first week we're like, oh, my God, I don't think I can go on.
Well, now you guys are kind of, to use the old phrase, making, lemonade out of lemons. You have a pop group, Diversity 5, a lot of press about this. You kind of explain how you guys, decided to form this group.
It kind of had to do with, I think, the chemistry that the five of us had. We just really, really built a wonderful relationship working together as Nitro girls. And once we saw that, the group is changing and people started going their own ways, we decided that we really didn't want to lose touch with each other and really just capitalize on the specialty that we have just within the five of us being diverse. And just, we love each other and we love to spend time with each other all the time. And we were just forced to do something else together. And when we thought about it, we were like, we should try to do the singing thing because some of us had, a little bit of vocal training in the past, and we decided to try it, and we did, and it ended up being really, really good.
We're talking with Vanessa Sanchez, formerly known as Tigress, and Charmel Sullivan, formerly Paisley from WCW, now in the rock group. I guess pop group's more the phrase we want to use, right?
Probably pop rock, because we do have something that's totally pop. Got a little club mix going on, and the next couple songs that we're working on are going to be more rock oriented. So to cover all the gamut, I'd say pop rock.
Like, what would you compare it to that maybe people are familiar with out there right now?
I really don't know if I could compare it to something because
See, but that's good. That's a good thing.
Unique.
I want to say that we are unique and that we do a lot of different styles. We're not pigeonholing ourselves into one particular thing. So, I would say the thing that's going to tie it all together is it's still going to be danceable because that's, one of our strong things is the performance that we can give our fans. So that's going to probably be the common ground between all of our music is you're definitely going to be able to move and groove to it.
And the nice thing is with your power plant training, you can kick Destiny Child's ass. So,
that's true. They have that over them.
And any other competition that might get in our way. Watch out!
If you want to check more out about them, Diversity5.com is the website. You also have a dual-track CD, two-track CD, which is available for purchase on the website. And talk a little bit about, when will we see a full-fledged CD and album out?
We're thinking it's probably going to be sometime during the fall.
Okay. And again, this is a pure pop. It's not like Hulk Hogan and his wrestling boot band.
Oh, God, I hope not.
This is strictly pop. This is danceable. It's fun to listen to.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great. Tell us a little bit about what some of the other girls are up to. Shay obviously is still, I assume, a part of WCW with the Nitro Girls.
That's correct. And she's still enjoying that. Let's see, Fire and Melissa are kind of, I'd want to say, acting at this time kind of as our managers of the group. They've really just taken a hold of learning the business end of the entertainment world and have kind of been directing the group. And now that Charmel and I have more time, we're probably going to end up participating in the more business aspect of the group as well.
And again, Diversity5.com is the name of the website. And through the website, you each have your own personal websites. Go ahead and plug those for us.
Mine is VanessaSanchez.com.
Charmel, you're not saying a lot tonight. This is radio. Express yourself.
It's like George Harrison. She's the shy one of the group.
Is she with us? Because I don't hear her.
I don't know. Did you lose her?
I think maybe she dropped out. Okay, Vanessa, this is all you did.
Okay. Because I felt like I was talking a lot, but I would pause and I never heard her. So I guess it's just me.
But I think hers is Charmel.com, correct?
I want to say yes, www.charmel.com.
Any chance, if the right offer comes along from the WWF or some other organization, you would want to get back in wrestling, or is this now your full-time gig?
I definitely would look at any opportunity that comes my way. I definitely appreciate WWF and their show and would be open to listening to any kind of opportunity they might have.
Well, one of the nice things, and I assume you would agree with me on this, is that wrestling fans are so loyal and they'll give you a chance to really try and expand on new horizons. And I think you've built up a nice following, and hopefully they'll give you the same chance to prove yourself with the pop side now of your career.
Absolutely, and we definitely will not fail our fans.
Nice to hear that. Vanessa, .com. You can pick up the new 2 tracks. Find out what happened to Paisley. Tell her, thanks.
I know. I will. I'm sure she'll be calling you shortly.
All right, and join us again sometime.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Best of luck to you. So, Diversity5.com, the website. They tried to get us a CD in time, but there are a couple problems with the printing of it, so maybe in the week or so, as the days and weeks go on, we will bring that and have them back here on the program.
I was going to ask her if, Mark Madden never hit on her. How disgusting that must have been.
Or Rey Mysterio Jr., there's got to be
she said she likes Rey Mysterio, though. She's
but you still want to know the behind-the-scenes dirt.
Well, yeah, but, sometimes you do. There's other times I'd rather not.
And we're going to talk about behind the scenes a little bit later. So
yes,
our website you can go to when you want to find out. Again, real quick, www.diversity5.com, the website. Check it out. Thanks very much to formerly known as Tigress, Vanessa Sanchez.
She can still be known as Tigress.
Can't you? Is that copyrighted or?
I don't know if it is. Well, we didn't ask her that though.
Well, go to VanessaSanchez.com. You can pop her off an email there and find out everything out you want.
Actually, I heard. Actually, I did hear that, and this is true, that most of the ladies within the wrestling business are very good as far as even responding to emails.
Yes,
I have heard that they are very good at personal response back. I can't guarantee that, but I've heard some people that've got personal responses back.
Yeah, don't email somebody and then come back and say, well, they never sent me an email back, and you said they would.
I wrote to Stephanie McMahon, and
we're going to go ahead and take a break. Your phone calls when we come back. Hop on board right now, 457-1065. We are the Wrestling Guys
on Buckeye Country 106.5.
No chance, that's what you got.
We are back on the Wrestling Guys, Buckeye Country 106.5. Shawn Stidham, Willie F. here tonight. Julie is here as well. Big interview coming up at 8 o'clock. Make sure you did not go anywhere. You will not want to miss it. We are not going to say who it is because we do not want to jinx it, but you will not be disappointed. I think, Julie, that's the phrase I'm looking for, right?
Definitely the phrase.
Thank you very much. 457-1065. Mr. Big stopped by before the show and dropped off some Godiva chocolate. So we've been munching on these during the break, and so we've got a little bit of caramel stuck in the teeth and whatnot. But 457-1065. We've got a couple open phone lines tonight if you want to hop on board and talk about anything you want between now and 8 o'clock. A little bit about the XFL. I want to get your takes on that. This past Saturday, XFL began, and we've been building up the anticipation for this. And obviously with Vince McMahon and Jim Ross and everybody else involved, certainly a lot of wrestling fans are interested in the XFL. It wasn't, I think, as aggressive or as NFL blitz as we thought it was going to be. But you got to remember one thing. These guys have only been together for really about 4 weeks. They found out 4 weeks ago. They're on the team. A week ago was when they had the final cut. So they really don't have the chemistry yet. They really don't have the teamwork yet down. It's not going to be NFL quality football. It's like comparing the Dayton Dragons to the Cincinnati Reds. It's entertaining, but it will not be as good as the Major League product.
Well, no, I mean, I knew that before it started, that it wouldn't be as good as... Well, it depends how you look at it. I like it better than the NFL.
Now, why? You just do.
Well, no, it's not that. I'm not a huge football fan to begin with, honestly. And I like the fact that I think the commentating is very interesting. I think it's really well done. It's not boring. It doesn't, one thing I hate about NFL football is the show, the pregame, where they sit there for an hour before the show starts and talk about the game, and then the hour after the game is over. They don't have that at the XFL, at least not yet. I hope they don't really incorporate that because that's just that's the most boring part of the whole thing, and it's a little more exciting. The fans seem more jacked about it, honestly.
I really couldn't get into the entire nicknames on the back of the jersey.
I love those.
I love those. Me?
I love
He hate me?
I
what
like
was
those.
that? The mummy?
I think I like those because that's,
Playa hater?
It's a lot like college ball. A friend of mine said it's a lot like college ball, and I like college ball.
But you don't put the nicknames on the back of the jersey. You go around. But he hate me. Will you sign my But
football? I think that's what made it different. The thing that I didn't like was okay, and you are. My name's Phil, and I'm the defensive end, and
I don't know what else to say.
I like Monopoly. Ugo.
No, I don't think the answer is for them to script storylines for these guys.
No, I don't want to. I don't want that either.
Help them a little.
Exactly, with their interview, as far as talking about themselves.
Don't even do that. That was absolutely ridiculous.
I thought maybe for the first one that would be cool. I hope they don't do that again because I thought that was too much.
I thought that was ridiculous. I actually, the thing that cracked me up the most was watching this poor reporter guy run around and try to get interviews with guys that are trying to go on the field.
Someone's gonna. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that on the air. Someone's just gonna.
Did you like Coachman going up to the Orlando guy on the sidelines and saying, "Yeah, you're about to lead the Orlando Rage to their first victory. How do you feel?" And he just like walks away from. Coachman.
I mean that stuff was great.
Those are funny.
Wait, you know the PlayStation style camera views being on the field, the new rules. That's great, but don't get in the coaches' faces during the game.
I also like the cheerleader. I like the cheerleader stuff too. I'm a law student by day. And I show off my body at night.
During the day, I wear a business suit and talk before judges. At night, I wear latex.
I wear pasties. I love that. Come on, that stuff was great.
See, I missed the beginning of the first one.
And you know what? If they keep having, the WWF guys come on and say little things about the XFL, I swear I'm going to throw something at the TV.
Well, and they've got to come up with a new name. They've got to come up with a new name for the championship game.
What is it?
Right now,
it's you don't know this?
Big game?
The big game at the end.
That's what it's called.
I know, they need to come up with something a little more catchier than
the big game at the end. Apparently, the XFL is not going to expand next year. They are planning on expanding in 2003. They're looking at putting 2 more new franchises, one in a central time zone, another on the West Coast. A little odd to see the San Francisco team. They basically did a lot of ripping off from the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
Instead of Darth Vader, you had Darth Maul. Instead of, the black hole that the Oakland Raiders have, what was it? It was the death hole or something like that. So a little bit different as far as...
the bad thing is, too, do you know how much they gave away a lot of free tickets.
No.
For Las Vegas? I heard they gave away a lot of free tickets.
From what I understand.
Now, Orlando, I heard, was actually, they sold very well.
From what I understand, the average was 80% paid as far as across the board.
Okay.
So it may be a case where Orlando was close to 100% paid.
That's what I heard.
Las Vegas was a little bit papered, but they're anticipating on meeting all of their projections as far as attendance and everything goes, well before the end of the season. So, like it or not, the XFL, at least for the first week, was a success. And I think that's only going to get better. I think once these guys have a little bit more time to work together, once some things happen during the season so that they have the rematch and, some bad blood is developed, that's when people are really going to start getting into it.
Though, if the Bengals joined up, they'd be world champions. They'd be the XFL champions.
Do you think so?
I don't think so. Wouldn't you not like to have... Would not Vince McMahon just, totally go nuts by having Paul Brown Stadium? Let's think about it. I want to get...
The one thing I think you're really going to see happen after this year, the first year you're going to do well because of the novelty of everything. After this year, I think you're really going to see them either go after a big-time NFL free agent or they'll go after one of the top college prospects and really try to take a run at the NFL, much like the USFL did back in 88.
At the same time, you saw how much they get paid, right?
Well, right.
These guys love that. I love
it too, but you can't tell me that you're going to lure an NFL free agent. All right, well, this is what we got for you. All right, you're a quarterback. All right, you're going to get $5,000, and you get an extra $2,500 if you win.
Do you know what the key in the NFL, though, with an NFL contract? The key is the signing bonus, because an NFL contract is not guaranteed. Corey Dillon, who's a free agent, he could sign a 15-year, $200 million contract, but after the first year get cut and not get anything except what the signing bonus is.
Yeah,
and that's why you see so much haggling over what the signing bonus is going to be. And so if Vince McMahon or whoever, is in charge of the contract with the XFL, if they come out and say, all right, Corey Dillon, here's a $50 million signing bonus. You're only going to make $45,000 a year base, but you're going to have a $50 million signing bonus. They'd do it. In a heartbeat, they'd do it.
I don't know.
I think, it's a chance, and a chance to have
at the same time, then I think you're totally going against what the XFL is supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's supposed to be that you don't get paid those huge
you
numbers
love the
to
game.
do
It's
nothing.
because you love the game.
Right, and there might be people out there who want to play it because it is, because of that, because they just love it, and...
Well, you never know. 457-1065. Let's go to Tip City and talk to Justin. How are you? Welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
I'm doing fine. How you guys doing?
Doing just fine.
Now, so it's Shawn that did not care for the XFL, correct?
No, I think we all kind of like the XFL.
You all kind of like, but you had some problems. Now, I think I only had one problem with the XFL. I like the way they presented it. I love the nicknames on the back.
You see, that's what I didn't care too much for.
I thought those were great.
I didn't like that much.
That really sets them apart from the NFL.
I agree.
What I didn't like, and what I hopefully think will run its course, is the sideline interviews.
I agree.
But the only thing that I think that it might not run its course is that Vince McMahon, that's probably what he wants. He probably wants them to get aggravated. He probably wants them to be, ticked off at the interviewer because it adds more drama to the show. I just personally feel sorry for the guys when, especially when they're doing bad. The interviewers that interviewed guys that were doing bad and called them on it, and they didn't care too much for that.
Well, I think they should have tried out some of that, because at the same point, I mean, another thing as far as the interviews is, they made such a big hype out of, at halftime, we're going to go into the locker rooms.
Right. And
Something that no one's ever done before. And then they go into the locker rooms, the guys are going, yeah, we're number one.
Right. I about
wow, that's great.
During that part. I think that was the most boring part. I think hopefully that will run its course as well. I probably personally would have liked to seen the cheerleaders dancing during halftime rather than sitting there and watch the guys drink their sports drinks during halftime.
Justin, what did you think of the 50-yard dash at the beginning to get the football?
I like that.
I like that a lot.
I love that. Anytime somebody could possibly get injured before the game even starts, that's got to add more excitement. Now, I do have one question for you guys.
Yeah.
That pertains to wrestling. I left this on the hotline. I did get a response, but I know you guys know a lot about wrestling, but maybe not everything. My grandfather was a professional wrestler back in the late 50s, wrestled in the NWA under the name Sergeant Bobby Allen. I believe he was champion at one time. Now, if any of the listeners that on ESPN Classic at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays, they show from that era of time. If any of the listeners have any archive footage or anything, any information for me that I'd like to find out more about my grandfather and his wrestling career, if they could call in and leave some information, I'll leave my number with you guys when I get off the air.
Okay.
And if anybody has any information about Sergeant Bobby Allen from the late 50s in the NWA, I'd really like any information I could have.
We'll throw it by Les, too.
Yeah, we'll call Les Thatcher, and he obviously, being from Cincinnati, knew a lot about the area, and he wrestled with the NWA also. So
cool.
We'll bounce that name off of him. Maybe he can direct us in a way to get some information about him.
I really appreciate that, guys. Thanks.
No problem. Hang on the line. Julia will get your information.
All right, thanks.
All right, no problem. 457-1065 if you want to take his place tonight on the Wrestling Guys. And, we get those questions a lot. And, I wish I had more answers for people sometimes.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to this guy from the 50s and 60s, I wasn't born yet, so I hate to say that, but I just,
And see, the bad thing is, there's a lot, we have a lot of contacts. Well, you have a lot of contacts.
Oh, shut up.
I just kind of, well, who'd you talk with today, Shawn? But
Wait. You have your stick. You go in the ring, you manage, you do all the cool stuff that way.
I don't do that anymore.
Okay, Brock. But, I do the stuff, as far as the media and all that stuff, so we both have our place.
Yeah, but actually what I was going to say is that there's not a lot of people that follow like the Where Are They Now. I mean, there was one site that was on the internet for a while that was basically a Where Are They Now, and basically that thing's kind of closed up and gone south.
Yeah, which a lot of websites are doing nowadays.
Yep.
Real quick, this was passed along to us. If you go to the Daily Lariat at OneWrestling.com, our friend Dave Scher, he does have a poll up right now as far as of the 5 women released last week from WCW, who should WCW take back, if any? Major Guns, Paisley, Tigress, Leah Meow, and Daphne were all released last week by World Championship Wrestling. Part of the reason is that they were brought in under Vince Russo's regime, and Eric Bischoff feels like that, hey, you know what? We don't need that many women in here. So,
and hopefully that means that managers are going to come back.
Male managers.
Male managers.
You would like that.
I'd like that.
Maybe that's your in.
That might be.
Maybe you could be the new manager of, if they whatever the new NWO is or whatever they do.
Now, who would you take back?
Out of the 5?
Out of the 5.
I like Leah Meow.
I'd take her for myself.
Yeah. But who I actually think could have a very good role is Daphne.
I agree with you 100%. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Daphne.
Who would you take out of it? You'd take Major Guns, right? Wouldn't you?
No, I just wouldn't take any of them.
No, you don't think Daphne even?
No,
I thought Daphne at least had a personality.
What personality? She screams.
That's fine.
That's great.
That's fine. That was different.
Not a
she has her little lunatic.
You know what,
friend.
Guys actually like women that scream.
But not for no reason.
Well, no, but she was screaming for a reason.
She would scream for no reason.
I understand, but at the same time, I thought she had like a personality.
Honestly, when she came on, I switched this channel. I couldn't stand it. Period.
And
that's just me.
I don't find Daphne to be all that attractive. But at the same time, I think that as far as all of them, I'd rather have Leah Meow. But at the same time, and I'm going to call her later. But at the same time, I think Daphne was the only one with a personality.
Now I'm jealous of you.
Yeah, I'll give a caller.
I talked to Jim Cornette, Bobby Heenan. You talked to Leah Meow.
I know. Come on.
Do you pay $2.99 a minute or what?
No, I do not. That's my little name for her.
I bet it is. I bet it is.
See, Julie has no idea what that means.
I know.
That's okay.
It was a past gimmick at the chat. She was originally known as Kimono Wanalea.
When she was in ECW.
Yes, because I've seen things like that on ECW.
There you go.
Or whatever.
I was flipping channels one time. I was watching The View because I was getting my fill of everything that will get me through the week, and I saw it.
I hate The View. Sorry. Okay. This is wrestling, but I hate The View.
It's something. 457-1065 is our phone.
You know what? For where we're sitting, we hate The View too.
Hey, real quick, we'll plug this. February the 15th is coming up, and Unified Championship Wrestling and the UPWA are combining for a big show at the 755, and it's going to be big. It's got Tommy Dreamer, it's got Rhino, it's got Francine.
Yes. And actually, Francine said on her website that she was looking forward to coming to Dayton.
And they're also now going to do a double bill with a show on the 16th in Wilmington. And for more information about that card, you can call 640-2794 Unified Championship Wrestling.
Yes, and don't forget, too, that the Heartland Wrestling Association has a big show. Now, granted, I know it's a while off, but March 16th with Kane taking on Leviathan. And you know what? I know who's going to be at the next show after that, too.
But we can't tell that yet.
Can we at least hint?
No.
You can give a hint. Can we give a hint?
No, not at all. Tell you what, we are going to go ahead. No, not yet. We're going to go ahead and take a break.
It's good.
Do we have our guest on the line? Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will have more on the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5.
Yeah, right on.
Back here on the Wrestling Guys, Buckeye Country 106.5, Shawn Stidham, Willie F. And that was not our big interview, but, Charmel called back. If you're just joining us at 7:30, we were scheduled to have Tigress and Paisley from former WCW.
Very nice-looking ladies.
And they came on, and something happened with Paisley, her real name's Charmel. Something happened where she just, disappeared. And Vanessa didn't know, we didn't know.
I think she had to do, Kiwi's hair still.
She's under contract. She has some obligations to fulfill.
That's right.
And anyway, so we have this interview set up at 8 o'clock. And so when we have a celebrity hotline.
Yes.
Hotline rings. We figure it's the big interview. And it's Charmel, which, no offense, but, we got something else scheduled for 8 o'clock.
That's right.
So now
we're going to feel bad, though. Are we going to feel bad, though, if
well,
the big interview doesn't
what I'm hoping didn't happen was that the big interview called at 8, and,
Well, it's like 1 after 8.
Yeah, we got her off the phone pretty fast.
We'll see what happens. We got a couple minutes. Let's go to Kid Chuck. I believe it's line 1. Kid Chuck, welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
Okay, first, I just want to make a couple, or at least one XFL point real quick.
Sure.
About the names on the back of the jerseys. I don't know, it's interesting in some aspects and others it isn't, but it was really good for Rod Smart, the guy with the He Hate Me on the back of his jersey, just because he's become like a celebrity now.
I know.
He didn't even have a great game.
That's the only guy that really had a personality out of all of them, though.
He didn't do anything.
Right.
Everybody knows who he is.
Exactly. I agree with you.
But, that's got to be tough because, most people identify you with your name, and to have the name of He Hate Me.
But come on, that was great. Who hate you? He does, over there. Come on, that guy.
I love the way Vince McMahon got heat in Atlanta on Monday by saying they wouldn't get an expansion team.
I like that, too, but at the same time, you know what? I'm really going to get tired of Vince tooting his own horn if they keep going on and on about this XFL. I mean, a lot of people complained about SmackDown last week, but that's all it was. Okay, we're going to watch the game. All right,
well, look at this past Monday on Raw with all the different little TNN segments they had in there. Every single one was about the XFL.
Right.
So, XFL is fun, it's nice, but, some promotions you can is granted, and that's fine, but to dominate the entire show with just, XFL, it's going to get tired real quick for wrestling fans.
I agree.
I think the reason TNN did that is because it's actually another show they might actually get people to watch. Okay, I have a wrestling question, actually.
Hey, wow.
Hey.
That's a good thing to have.
What's going on with this BET, Urban Wrestling Federation to have? Is that going on hold?
I don't know. Did that never started and we never heard anything more about it?
Yeah, they sent out a press release. It was going to start, I think it was January 17th. That's the name of the date that pops up. But,
right.
it just never took off.
I mean,
so I don't really know.
Someone stole the set. think that's what happened. They're doing the urban thing a little bit too much, and someone just ran off with it.
Ah, geez. I really don't know what the latest on that is, so we'll have to wait and see.
If that gets up and running, like, what kind of financial bracket are they going to be in? Like, would they have a chance to maybe go after some of the ECW talent that doesn't go to the big two, or?
I don't know. I think XPW's got pretty much a lock on a lot of the ECW guys.
Well, you got to wonder, because some of the guys from ECW really, don't have any interest in them from either of the big two. Some of them burnt their bridges.
Sure.
Sandman last week was at XPW offices.
Yes, I heard that.
Talking about possibly going there. I think some of maybe the hardcore ECW guys like Sandman, it's hard to think of Sandman going to XPW given the bad blood between ECW and XPW. I would think that he would maybe go, to an urban wrestling league or some other alternative. But then again, the guy's got a family to feed. If XPW comes with a paycheck, it's hard to say no to that.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of those talented. There's a lot of talent that is there that I don't think that they're not going to find it. Roadkill. I don't see him going anywhere.
What do you read anything into the fact that Steve Corino was backstage at Nitro a couple of weeks ago?
Absolutely nothing, according to him.
But
yeah.
But according to someone I talked to today,
you have those connections.
Sorry, Corino is. I wouldn't say. Basically, he has like a verbal agreement. Well, and we'll leave it at that.
With WCW.
With WCW.
Okay. That might actually make me watch WCW.
Steve Corino tried to say, they were in Baltimore, and it's close to my house.
I have
friends.
I walked across the street to get there.
But don't forget, Dusty Rhodes was on that show.
Yes.
Dusty Rhodes obviously worked a program with Corino and ECW, is a big fan of Corino, and Dusty Rhodes did talk with Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, I heard him talk about
put Corino over, and Bischoff talked with Corino, and, again, if everything comes off in the next 4 weeks or so with Bischoff and everything in WCW, expect some new spaces in there.
All right, that's all I have for you guys.
Thanks a lot, Kid Chuck. Appreciate that.
A little later.
All right, out. One thing also is that...
wait a minute.
I said out.
Did you just say out?
I said out.
That's
Yeah, it's
what
old Jim
I thought
Rome
I
thing,
heard
so
that
you know.
too. That was pretty scary. That was pretty scary.
Julia, turn off your mic. Thanks.
Say
That
this.
was pretty scary.
Sean, say this. Go word.
No, I can't.
Come
do
on,
that.
man. Come
I can't do that.
on.
Just
Word.
out late,
Out.
I was listening to Rome today. What can I say?
Really? You in the box?
I was in the box.
Okay.
Yeah, Julia, turn off your microphone.
It is off.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
Lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. Out.
Again, earlier today, Wade Keller of the Pro Wrestling Torch is reporting that there are some snags in the deal now between Fusion and WCW.
What kind of snags?
He didn't elaborate, but it could prevent the deal from being completed. WCW says, that's not true. But again, we've seen these things before where they're denied and then they end up, coming to
Do you think it has
fruition.
anything to do with like the Goldberg thing? As far as like him going, hey, I'm a free agent if they get sold?
Let's back up a second.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know, there's some talk that some of the top names in WCW, including Goldberg, have a clause in their contract that if WCW is sold from Time Warner to another company, they could become free agents.
Right.
Now, Time Warner still owns a small part of WCW in the new deal that's being worked on with Fusion. So the question is, if Time Warner still owns a small part of the company, does this clause go into effect? Or if it's, if Time Warner's not the majority owner, does that mean that these guys become free agents? Again, this is something that's rumored about right now. But Goldberg last week had some shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
Nothing real serious, just got some stuff scoped out. He should be okay, whenever the decision is made to bring him back, which, again, we assume is going to be about another month or so. My guess is that with them canceling the April pay-per-view, that May 6th pay-per-view should be the one that they really, explode with the brand new WCW. If it all comes together.
Right. And I'm hoping they do explode with the new WCW, but at the same time, I'm a little hesitant to say that, just due to the fact that how many new WCWs can we get?
We've had quite a bit. And one person said today that, we've kind of said in the last few weeks, well, Bischoff's really not in charge yet. Maybe he's having some influence.
Oh, come on. You can see his fingerprints all over it.
Yeah, another person said today that Bischoff is calling all the shots backstage.
You can tell that.
Yeah, the one thing, too, maybe, he's just kind of, he doesn't want to bring anything new, start anything, long-term yet until the deal is actually signed and complete. But what he's working with right now, and what he's giving us right now, isn't a good sign of what could be to come.
No, because looking at this past Nitro, I want to say this, though. If anyone, I swear, anyone call up right now, 457-1065, okay? And you call up if you were actually shocked that Rick Steiner turned on Scott Steiner or turned on Kevin Nash.
$100 again.
No, I'm not. They turned on Kevin Nash on Nitro. I swear. See? They're not even lighting up just because of that.
The thing is with Rick Steiner, if he had been a face for a long period of time, if he came back and for 6 weeks, even 4 weeks at this rate, and had been a face and had worked a while, a few months as a baby face, and then made the heel turn, it would have more of an impact. But Steiner's really only been around for the last couple of weeks.
That is typical
and
Bischoff booking.
How many times have we seen the Steiners together break up, together break up, together break up? They're right behind Undertaker Kane.
Right, yeah, you're right. They are right behind
brothers getting up, breaking up, and getting back together. They're right behind those two. Do we still have Bill on the line? Let's go to line 2, talk to Bill. William, how are you?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Good. Just fine.
I had kind of a question. It's about WCW. Do you know when they're going to bring back the women's title and television title?
I don't think you're going to ever see the women's with all the women being gone now. I don't. It's up to Miss Hancock and.
Well, she's really not around anymore. So
yeah, but she's still under contract.
Yeah, you got Miss Jones, you got Miss Hancock.
Right.
I'm sure there's somebody, Scott Steiner, some Medeja.
Oh, yeah, Medeja.
She's under contract. But as far as the rest of them go, no, they're really not under contract. So, or they don't have anybody else.
Okay. And the other question is, what are they going to do with the hardcore title now that Ming went to WWF?
He gave it to Barbarian, but did they...
Well, Barbarian's not under a contract with WCW at all. He simply took the belt to the arena and gave it back to WCW. So
here you go.
It's not like Barbarian's a champion. They've kind of just...
I found this in the back of my car. I thought I'd give it back to you.
Hey, guys, I was walking down the street, and this fell and hit me on the head. So.
By the way, you got a contract for me?
But I don't know. The TV title, we've heard a lot of talk that they are looking at bringing that back. But as far as the hardcore belt, that's still up in the air.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Julie just cut him off right there, but that's all right. Let's go to line 7 and talk to Flamethrower Rob Dalton. How are you?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. That's fine.
Got a question about WCW for you.
Okay.
With Bischoff coming back, do you think Hulk Hogan is going to be far behind?
Hulk Hogan has already been pretty much announced that he will have something to do with the company. Now, what that is, it's not been said. But, I hate to say it, but the ego of Hulk Hogan, I don't think that Hulk Hogan could have a background role within that company. He would need to be an on-air personality.
And he'd have to have the company revolve around him like before.
Unfortunately, I would say probably yes.
Well, the one thing we've heard is that there's talk that Hulk Hogan is one of the investors in this company. There was some talk that Hulk Hogan would be one of the bookers or the main booker. Eric Bischoff denies that. But Eric Bischoff doesn't really, Eric Bischoff denies everything.
This is true.
You could go up to Eric Bischoff and say, your name's Eric Bischoff. No, it's not. Until he has an official press release to say it is.
Right.
So. We'll see. Obviously, there's a friendship there, and Eric Bischoff, in his previous incarnation with WCW, he liked to use the older guys. He was a big fan of Hogan and Savage, and it's not too far out of the realm to think that he'll bring those guys back once again.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does.
All right, guys. Well, this is going to be my last show because I leave Tuesday to go to Vegas. So.
That's why I understand. Yeah. You're going to Las Vegas, but let's get one thing straight. You're getting a calling card. You're still calling the Wrestling Guys hotline.
Actually, I have a cell phone and I have unlimited minutes, and then my long distance can cover that.
There you go. See, Julia earlier said she couldn't call the hotline because it's long distance. But you, a dedicated listener and longtime supporter of the Wrestling Guys, even though you're going to be like 2 or 3 time zones away, have went and made a purchase so you could still listen to the hotline.
Yeah, I still will be calling, guys.
All right. Thank you very much. Best of luck to you out there, and win a lot.
Oh, I tried.
All right.
Take it easy.
And again, you have our address. You can share with us whatever.
That's right.
And Julie just got rid of him, too. So Julie's just cutting everybody off tonight.
I'm not going to go there.
All right. Let's go ahead. Good evening. How are you? It is another Wednesday.